Welcome to Ada Continues. This is episode 288. This is a weekly podcast posted up every Monday on adacontinues.com as an MP3, and it goes up before that on youtube.com/adacontinues as a video where you see me over here. I am on the, what side is this? The left, the right side of the screen. I am on the right. My name is Stafa. I am the host, but y'all know who it is. And each week I have a different guest host with me. This week I have Chris.
Hello. How's it going?
All right. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing all right. Yourself?
All right.
All right.
Doing well. Chris is a coworker. He is an aminator.
Aminator?
Yeah, aminator.
Yeah, I aminate things all day.
Yeah, do emanations.
Yeah.
The Emanation Nation.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So professional aminator at my workplace. And yeah, we're here to talk about video games and related topics. And this episode, our segments will be the rapid fire interview questions to help introduce Chris to the show. After that, we have our main topic, which will be what was our main topic? We want to talk about 5 games that we'd like to get remade.
Yeah.
With
all the remakes and remasters going around now.
Yeah. After that, we got some announcements, and then we got some news topics to go over. So let's get started. But before we do that, I just want to do a quick disclaimer that all opinions expressed on this show are of our own and not representative of our employers, whether past, present, or future.
True.
Hashtag promote Stafa. Yes. Promote me. Hashtag. Hashtag don't fire Stafa. So anyways, let's get started.
All right,
Chris, let's do the rapid fire interview questions.
Okay.
So to remind the listeners real quick what the rapid fire interview questions are, because we don't do this every single week. The rapid fire interview questions are 5 questions I ask every new person to the show, except for one person who didn't do it, and he has to do it next time he's on the show.
Tisk.
Yeah. So yeah, 5 questions I ask just to like break them into the show and let the listeners have an idea of who we are. Yeah, who you are, what your preferences are with gaming, you know, your kind of your opinions, you know, right off the bat. So let's get started.
Okay.
Are you holding on to your pants?
My pants? Oh my god.
Yep. You ready?
All right.
First question. Your all-time favorite console?
All-time favorite, for nostalgia reasons, was the SNES, but for, I think, just like gross technological achievement, like what it's done for the games industry and everything, is probably Xbox 360. I mean, that was like, you know, that and the PS3. We got wireless controllers out of that. The OS on Xbox 360, I think, was great, especially in comparison to the PlayStation 3s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember the update times between the two. Xbox was like, all right, we're updated, you know, and PS3 was like hours later.
Yeah.
Of course, I was on like DSL back when I was trying to update these things too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a great library of games, both remakes of old games, and indie games. Like that was when we got games like Fez, Super Meat Boy, Limbo, etc. So it really kind of kicked off the
whole Xbox Live Arcade thing.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. So question number 2, name 3 of your favorite franchises or IPs.
Oh man, just for all-time favorites, and I mean, if people are seeing me look down, I do have a cheat sheet that I made up here. So, like just all-time favorites, cliche would be Metroid, Zelda, and Final Fantasy. Those are definitely those are the ones that I go back to for nostalgia. Though I will, with the caveat that like Final Fantasy, I haven't really been playing it as much as I used to, at least the newer releases. I'm replaying Zodiac Age right now, Final Fantasy 12. But I haven't played 15 yet. So
where have you like lingered off with the Final Fantasy series?
The last one that I actually finished myself was probably 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But then like 8, one of my friends in college beat it, and I was
You're
while I was in
watching.
the room,
Yeah.
so I felt like I beat it then.
Yeah.
And I had basically made it up to the end of the game also. And then 9 I think was a similar situation. Like I watched somebody beat it. And 10, again, like I had made it up to the end, and then I was over at a friend's house, and he happened to have a save like right at the end, so I just watched him finish that game as well. So
Okay.
excuse
Yeah.
me. Yeah, and then I'm like this close. I'm at that point that I normally like stop playing Final Fantasy games on Zodiac Age right now too. So this is the make it or break it moment. If I actually push forwards with my save and finish the game, it'll be like the first one since Final Fantasy VII that I'll actually have finished myself. However, if I get bored or get busy or whatever, and I just go on YouTube and watch the end or something like that. So, but I do have some non-cliche game series in there that
sure. You want to throw in some other answers?
It's not really a franchise, but I absolutely loved Hyper Light Drifter, and hopefully that'll be made into a franchise. Maybe,
Okay.
maybe not.
Yeah.
And Legacy of Kain, Destiny. I thought Regicide from what was that? Taken King. I think that's one of the best levels that I've seen in a game in years. It is definitely top notch. I love that entrance going into fighting. Oh shoot, I want to call him Crota, but it's not Crota. The other one. Anyway, my mind's blanking.
I haven't played Destiny, so I don't know. I can't help you there.
All right. And then of course the Batman Arkham games as well.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I've been like that question. Name 3 of your favorite franchises. I mean, it's more IPs. I just haven't I don't know. Like I haven't changed the question on my notes. And some people when I ask them IPs, like, what's an IP?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So it's not really just franchises.
IP 192.168.0.0. Yeah, that's my favorite. It's my favorite IP.
That's my favorite one too.
My gateway, my router.
So, question number 3: if you can have lunch with anyone in the video game industry other than Staffa, who would it be?
Oh, well, we do lunch every once in a while, anyway. So.
Yeah.
I would actually. There's a animator. She's worked on Skullgirls, and she did the intro to Sonic Mania. Her name's Muriel Cartwright. She's done a GDC talk that I think is absolutely fantastic, and I would love to sit down and pick her brain some more.
Yeah, Skullgirls looked great, and I also watched that that animation for Sonic Mania. Like it's online.
Yeah, it's so good.
It looks very similar to the cutscene on Sonic CD.
Yep. It was very much made in that style from everything that I've read and seen on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Question number 4: what's one problem with the video game industry today?
That's a tough one. I really struggled to come up with an answer for this one. I don't know. I wrote down something along the line of like review scores and how much that matters to the game studios. That. So, for example, there's games where, they're heavily reliant on like their multiplayer aspect of it, and so they still have to do a campaign in order to get I think Titanfall was one that I think that suffered a lot from this, right? Titanfall 1 was that it didn't really have a campaign, and I think its review scores suffered greatly because of that, even though it was mostly made as a multiplayer game. There's that, but then in the indie space you have games that are just purely multiplayer, like PUBG. That's that and Overwatch. These are games that are made purely as multiplayer, but yet they don't really suffer from that. So I don't know. I don't really have a good answer for this. I think the the games industry is a product of many different things. There's nothing that I could say like this is definitely a problem. We need to fix that, and here's how we fix it.
Yeah.
Like everything is like there's no simple answers to anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. The purpose of this question is more to show that, despite that us being very enthusiastic and loving video games,
yeah.
that we can still point out, hey, here's a problem here or there.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
That's that's acceptable answer.
Yeah.
Let's move on and do the final question, number 5. One reason why you game.
One reason, lots of reasons, but primarily, I mean, I grew up in a pretty remote part of the country, so it was really escapism. I mean, like, there wasn't much around for me to do, so games became that thing. It's like going to see a movie or getting caught up in a comic book or something like that. It's a way to just kind of escape from, a relatively boring life for a little while. But also the challenges that the games pose, and being able to, like, I love playing, like in Hyper Light Drifter, like that. One of the things that I love about that is I died a dozen times trying to fight this one boss, but when you finally get it, you just feel like you just conquered the freaking world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just feel absolutely great. What an accomplishment and everything. And then you go and you die 20 more times on just the normal minions. So yeah.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. Dying a lot. Yeah, I get that.
Like having I love boss fights that take a lot of skill and a lot of work to defeat, and then once you got it, it just feels so satisfying.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I think that go into doing that right too, and they did it right with Hyper Light Drifter. Like, excuse me, your respawn times are pretty low in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is like there is like your respawn animation that you do have to watch over and over. That may be one thing that they could do a little bit better if they do it in the future. But at the same time, it keeps you from rushing in and just, going over and over and over again quite so quickly. It gets you to kind of pause for a moment and think about what you did and what you need to do. So, yeah.
All right. So those are the 5 rapid fire interview questions.
Yeah, that's me.
Do you feel
that's everything that you need to know about me?
Do you feel like you've hit adulthood now that you've survived these 5 questions?
Yes, I'm adult Link now. I've gone through the Temple of Time.
Yeah. Listeners, if you want to also answer those 5 rapid fire interview questions yourself, you can send an email to podcast@outofcontinues.com and answer them yourself, and I'll read them.
Yeah.
On the show.
Tell me what my favorite console is, please. Oh, you mean for them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you meant you wanted them to answer as if they were me.
Either way.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Or answer from me. What's my
yeah,
favorite?
What's Staffa's favorite console? What's his favorite franchises?
Yeah. Answer for the president of your country.
The president of your country?
Yeah, of the listener.
Oh, okay.
The listener, your country. Answer for your president.
Oh man.
Send it to podcast@continues.com. That's your homework. I want those results. I want to read them on next episode.
Yeah. Everybody's just gonna say Battlefield.
I do have a lot of listeners in China.
Yeah.
So maybe Battlefield will work for that too. All right. So let's move on to our main topic, which is games that we would like to see remade or remastered. A lot of games have been coming out recently and being announced recently to be remastered and remade. Like one recent one that's still selling really well is the Crash Bandicoot trilogy. It's still the number 1 selling game in Australia and New Zealand.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Major props to the guys at VV for putting that together.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they worked their butts off working on that. So got a lot of friends there. So nice job, guys.
Yeah, and I haven't really. I have it. It's like right behind me over there, but I haven't really gotten around to playing it much yet.
Yeah, I played it a little bit. I was never the biggest Crash fan. Like I had the first one, of course, and I never made it very far. Like I'm bad at those games.
I beat the first two. I got like halfway through the third one. I never beat it though.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I really like Crash Bandicoot.
yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about some games that we would like to see remade or remastered, and just to like clarify to the listeners as to what like I consider being a remake or a remaster is when a game is basically redone with updated graphics and also sometimes updated gameplay, but for the most part it's basically the same game. I mean, like examples being the Crash trilogy, Bionic Commando being an example where they took an NES game, updated it with 3D graphics, but still kept most of the core gameplay mechanics, updated it a little bit.
Zodiac Age.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. Few minor tweaks here and there, but it's essentially Final Fantasy 12 from what we got in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a game like Tomb Raider from 2013, that's a reboot. That's not a remake or a remaster. That's a completely new game where they're taking the series and starting over with it. Yeah. So it's definitely not the same game as the original Tomb Raider. So just want to clarify that to the listeners. So the way how I usually do these top lists is that we would alternate, listing off one item and alternating between the our items, our picks. So since you're the guest, would you like to go first?
Sure. Yeah, as I mentioned, one of my favorite series is the Legacy of Kain series. So I would love to see an HD remake of the Soul Reaver games. Those games were absolutely fantastic at the time. It's been years and years since I've played them. Hopefully the mechanics still hold up and everything. I know that I was actually watching some YouTube videos recently how they were kind of rediscovering the Soul Reaver games and talking about how good of games they are and everything. I mean, they were fantastic games. A lot of that stuff is like faded from my memory as far as the specifics of those games. But watching those videos recently where they were talking about apparently you can get them on PC, but there's like issues with the VFX and some transparency issues and stuff. So apparently the Dreamcast emulator is like the best way to play it, but even that has its issues.
That version was much better than the PlayStation version.
Yeah. So yeah, those games, the lore of those, the way that the stories were told in those games, I remember
voice acting was great.
Yeah.
And it had like a lot of cool like gameplay mechanics. Like I remember you can like impale enemies onto like hooks that are on the wall.
Yeah. Pretty violent for today's gamers, but we don't. I mean, we still have some games here and there like that.
There was also the world changing, swapping between the living world and the soul world.
Yeah. So how like everybody talks about like in Titanfall 2, right? There's the one level where you kind of teleport between two different time periods.
Yeah.
Here I am. I'm going like, yeah, that's cool. That's great. You did it in a first-person shooter. That stuff has been done for ages, and like Soul Reaver is definitely one of those games that takes that mechanic of your environment, changing between two different states of your environment, and using it as a puzzle, and being able to traverse to open up new areas and everything. So yeah, they definitely they mastered it back then.
To be fair, like the way how Titanfall did it was so quick. Like you instantly switched between the two worlds, and like the enemies would basically like the enemy in one world would like continue moving around in that world, and then they would like once you switch back,
Yep.
It's a lot different than the way how like Soul Reaver did it, where it was a lot the
transition was a lot slower.
Yeah, it was a
Soul
slow
Reaver.
transition. It wasn't like you can instantly do it anywhere.
Yeah, and I think the AI, I think they just kind of like froze in place when you went between the two different worlds, right?
Plus, in like the presentation,
I'm not trying to take anything away from Titanfall.
Like the presentation was really cool how they did it. Yeah, like the way how the guys were screaming about like he's teleporting, or like they were freaking out that you were switching between the two timelines. Like they thought you were teleporting.
Yeah,
like it was really cool. But like I definitely get what you mean. I mean, like there's been games in the past that have done it. Like Ocarina of Time has done it in a way. What's it? Warrior Within, Prince of Persia Warrior Within did it.
Yeah.
But that game sucked.
Oh no, I just you're bringing up you're going back a little bit there.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I mean, I'd like to see Soul Reaver games remade as well. I mean, those are really good games. Like just the whole Legacy of Kain series has just a really cool lore.
Yeah.
Just great voice acting, very dark, gothic.
It had something to say too. That was one thing that I really, really appreciate about their storytelling, is that like you played it and you're like, wow, I just kind of learned something about like, about how people act and humanity, and like this is saying something about the world that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it comes from a more cynical time too. I think people were a bit, especially maybe not especially gamers, but I think people were a bit more cynical back then as well, back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess it was more early 2000s, wasn't it? No, that was PS1.
I think it was late 90s, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Dreamcast came out in 99.
Right.
And
yeah.
The first not first Soul Reaver game, but first Legacy of Kain game. The 2D one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that.
And also like those games were basically like adult Zelda games.
Yeah. I remember the first Legacy of Kain game. That was a little like I think the movement and everything was a little chunkier.
Yeah, it was very sloppy, especially the way how you swing the sword. It didn't feel I mean, I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but like comparing that to like Zelda A Link to the Past, like it's exactly where you're swinging with Link.
Yeah.
Directly in front of you, and like basically also a lot of the maps have like cubes, like tiles on the floor where you can like basically see where you're standing and the enemies. So it's exactly how you're attacking. In Legacy of Kain, the very first Legacy of Kain game, where it's like top down, similar to A Link to the Past.
Blood Omen Legacy of Kain.
Yes.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, like it didn't feel as precise with the combat. Like when you swing your sword, it's like all over the place.
Yeah.
And like like you said, movement's very sloppy, sluggish or whatever. It's just
I think he would only move on the cardinal directions, I think, right? Like up, down, left, right. He wouldn't move on the diagonal.
I can't remember.
I forget. It's been so long.
Yeah. Yeah, and also like if you look at the CG cutscenes for that game, they are laughable today.
That was like, I remember watching those, and like I think I ended up like getting a cheat code or something like that for the first Blood Omen game to like just view all the cinematics or something like that. I forget what exactly it was. But yeah, I just remember just watching all the cinematics because they were so cool.
Yeah,
it's like it's 3D, it's CG.
Yeah, it's like whoa, they added 3D in this game. Yeah. All right. Let's move on.
Okay.
So the first item on my list.
Yeah.
Unreal Championship 2.
Oh wow.
So this is an Xbox game, and I've mentioned this on the podcast before when I can't remember the studio's name, but the studio that just did the HD remake or HD re-release of Phantom Dust. They went to Twitter and said, "Hey, what Xbox game should we do an HD remaster of?" And I told the podcast, I was like, "Hey, everybody, you need to go to Twitter and tell them make an HD remaster of Unreal Championship 2." So what I love about Unreal Championship 2 so much is that it is very different from like all the other Unreal like tournaments and the Unreal games.
Yeah.
So Unreal Championship 1 was basically a sloppy port of Unreal Tournament 2003, I think.
Okay.
I don't think it was Unreal Tournament 2004. I think it was specifically 2003. It was just a really bad port, like, had bad frame rate, especially when you did split screen. Like they basically tried to port the same game, but it was just sloppy.
Yeah.
So Unreal Championship 2, rather than being another port of an Unreal Tournament game, they built a brand new game from the bottom up. It's not only a first-person shooter, but it can be a third-person shooter. You can move the camera out. Not only is it that, but it's a third-person melee game.
Oh yeah.
Because like
a hack and slash almost.
Kinda, yeah. So basically, like, there's 3 different types of characters. It's heavy, medium, light. Like, there's a select screen. It's kind of like a fighting game. You have to select your character, and each character has like their own melee weapon, and then you select 2 guns. Because you only switch between 2 guns. At the time, it was like trying to do the Halo thing where you only have 2 guns.
Yeah.
So you select 2 guns, and that way, they remove the whole aspect of, oh, I'm going to run to this part of the map to try to find the rocket launcher.
Right.
Yeah. And they balanced out all the weapons too, so that like no weapon felt like it was more powerful than the others.
Yeah.
So you select your character, you have 2 guns, you have your melee weapon, and you go at it in the map. You have like a lock-on ability when you click in one of the thumbsticks. I think it's the aiming one, the right thumbstick.
Okay.
So you can click in, you lock on to a character, so it kind of makes the shooting a little bit easier. If you don't want to use it, you don't need to use it, but it's definitely useful for the melee.
Yeah.
To lock onto a character.
Yeah.
And also the way how they made the melee work with going against guns is that when you have your melee weapons out, you can deflect the projectiles.
Oh, cool.
And you can, if you aim correctly, you can deflect it straight back at your opponent.
Yeah.
So you can
you can like Genji it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can knock it was a lot harder than Genji though.
Yeah.
But like you can knock a rocket straight back at your opponent. And also
makes sense.
You have like a charge ability as well. So like you'll take your weapon out, over your shoulder, and you'll like charge for a little bit, and then you'll just dash towards them and do like a just a charging attack.
Yeah.
And you do it through the air. So it's kind of like, I know you can double jump in the game, so that's kind of like a triple jump if you do that.
Yeah.
As well. But just the gameplay was really good. It was very different from like all the other first-person shooters. It also had a very good single-player mode, which no other Unreal Tournament game has had. Like every other Unreal Tournament game has had basically, here is a multiplayer map, but play against bots. Like that's the single player in all those.
Oh yeah.
Like this one actually had a story focusing on this character Anubis and his ex-wife, and also, and like
his ex-wife Anubis got remarried. The god's like, I need a new wife.
Well, the character's name is Anubis.
He's a character. He's not actually an Egyptian god.
He does put on like this helmet that makes him look like the god Anubis.
Okay, yeah.
Like a dog helmet.
Like Stargate sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And also like they explain a lot of the Unreal Tournament lore and that campaign.
Oh,
Like the I can't remember what the corporation's name, but like they go into the corporation and like explain like the different races and like why there's like dead like necro people, and they they explain like the why people respawn and stuff like that. And it was really good. I love the game. One other thing about the gameplay, like you can stun people, and if you, when you're using your melee weapons, if you stun them, this button sequence shows up like a quick time event. It's really quick. You have to do it very quickly. And if you do
quick time event,
it's super quick. It's a super quick time event. Yeah. And if you do it fast enough and input it correctly, you only have one chance to do it. If you input it correctly, you do a fatality on them.
Oh, okay.
And that's because Midway helped develop that game.
Oh, okay.
Because
did like the red text come up and everything, like fatality?
It didn't say fatality. It was called like coup de grace, but it was basically a fatality.
Yeah.
And Epic, they wanted help making a proper console game at the time because like they didn't really make any good console games before then.
Yeah,
so they reached out to Midway and collaborated with them, and Midway helped make the game. And they also placed Raiden in the game as well. He is a selectable character, but you have to unlock him, and it's extremely hard to unlock him. Anyone who is playing him online at the time, like you could tell they're a really good player because they went through like the challenge mode and completed all the challenges, which some of them are super hard. And also Raiden, like his melee weapon is a staff, so that was also really cool. But just Unreal Championship 2, I would love to see this remastered. I mean, like I feel like the gameplay still holds up. Just no one played the game at the time. I don't know why. It did not sell well. No one played it. I remember pre-ordering the game because I was so hyped for it because it looked really cool.
Yeah.
And no one else pre-ordered it. And I was like, what's going on? And then when I was playing it, no one else was playing online.
Yeah.
Like none of my friends. And like there wasn't really that many people online playing it at times.
It just didn't get the marketing, maybe, or something like that.
I don't know. Like for some reason, it just didn't sell well. I think maybe it came out around the same time as some other big title. I can't remember. But it just didn't do well for some reason.
Yeah.
A lot of people have not even heard of this game, and I would love to see it remastered.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I've really heard of it at all.
It's an excellent game.
Yeah. What was it? What was the one that shipped that had it had UDK in it bundled with it? Was that just Unreal Tournament 3 or was that Unreal Championship 3? I forget.
Unreal Championship 3 never came out.
Okay, that wasn't actually.
So it was probably Unreal Tournament 3. Yeah. It definitely was Unreal Tournament 3 because UDK is Unreal Engine 3.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the only Unreal Engine Unreal game that I actually have because it had Unreal UDK bundled with it essentially. Yeah.
I think
so my knowledge on Unreal is I was totally a console gamer.
Yeah.
Still mostly am, but I just built a HD PC right recently. Anyway, I'm tangenting like crazy as I do.
What's what's next game on your list?
Let me see. Man, actually, I think I'm gonna skip my number 2 because it almost seems like too obvious. Sorry, I'm away from my mic here. Yeah, probably. I don't know, man. This one's tough.
Let's hear it. What is it?
It was Jak and Daxter.
Okay.
Yeah, like the original, the PS2 era ones.
Yeah.
But man, those things, even still, like when I picture it in my head, it still looks good in my head. I don't know if that's just a nostalgia. I haven't looked at some pictures of it recently. I don't know if it needs an HD. I mean, maybe it could use like just like an up-resing You know,
You know,
release the uncompressed textures.
I'm gonna
and,
put it
like,
this way.
up-res the rendering of it.
I'm gonna put it this way: if you look at Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank from PS2 and compare him to the Ratchet and Clank in PS4,
Yeah,
there's a world of a difference.
yeah,
So I mean the Jak and Daxter games, while they did look very good at the time for PS2, I'm very certain it would look completely different
yeah,
if they did remake that.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean the graphics definitely, or the designs and everything, they definitely evolved over the series as well. You look back at like Jak from Jak and Daxter 1, compare him to Jak and Jak 3,
Mm.
and it's like you're like, that's the same character. Like it's
Yeah.
so different. Like he has all of the pieces, but it's like they're in slightly the wrong place.
Mm.
Just the proportions, they improved it so much over the time. So yeah, I'd say Jak and Daxter. That's like my cop out answer. That's one that I would love to see remastered and everything, but I don't know if it's 100% necessary. It's like almost wasted effort to remaster.
If they did remaster that, I would probably play it because I never played those games. At the time, I was in high school at the time.
Yeah.
In high school and just finished high school, and like, my mentality at the time was a lot different. I'd look at the character Jak and I'd be like, oh, what's this goofy elf-looking dude that's barefoot with this weird ferret-looking character? I don't want to play this. And then like after that, it's like, oh, well, they gave him a soul patch and try to make him edgy. No, I don't want to play this. And then
that's how you can tell it's early 2000s, because he has a soul patch.
and then like by the third game, I played the demo. I was trying to give it a chance, but like I didn't really like how the guns worked. Like there was kind of like a shooting mechanic that wasn't exactly like, it wasn't like a third person shooter.
Yeah,
it was different. And also like when he spun, I was like, why'd they give him a Crash Bandicoot spin?
Because it's Naughty Dog. Like, what are we gonna have this character do? I don't know. Have him spin.
Let's make him spin. That's his attack.
So, Last of Us 2. If you guys are working on that, if anybody from Naughty Dog's listening, give Ellie and Joel a spin, please.
Yeah,
spin attack.
Essential. It's essential.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed with Naughty Dog. They didn't go their usual route with 3 games and then a racer. They did Crash 1 through 3, and then they did Crash Team Racing.
Oh yeah.
They did Jak 1 through 3, and then they did Jak X, which was a racer.
Yeah.
And then they did Uncharted 1 through 3, and then they made Last of Us.
Yeah.
Where was like Nathan
Uncharted Team Racing?
Nathan Drake Train Racing.
Yeah, train racing. Because he crashes them. That's why he doesn't know what to do. He just crashes them.
No. Well, he has to like throw the grenade last second. No.
Yeah.
And then he crashes.
Make it like a Twisted Metal sort of game, right?
Yeah. Like
Destruction Derby.
Where is Nathan Drake Train Racing? Come on now. What is wrong with you guys?
Naughty Dog.
Just too busy making good games.
Yeah. Awful.
Yeah. Should be ashamed of yourselves.
Yeah. This is not what the fans asked for. We did not ask for good games.
Yeah.
All right. We're asking for racing games.
Exactly.
Caveat, I am a huge sim racing fan. So I'm into racing.
To be fair, Crash Team Racing was an excellent, despite it looking like a Mario Kart 64 knockoff, it was a good knockoff.
Yeah.
And from what I heard about Jak X, I didn't play it myself, but it got really good reviews.
Yeah. I hadn't played it either. That was right around probably the time that like PS3 and Wii were coming out, I think.
Yeah, it was late PS2. Very late PS2.
So I think I was probably making the transition at that point. So
all right, moving on.
Yeah.
So the next item on my list is the original Deus Ex game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I would like to see that remade remastered and updated gameplay.
As somebody who never really played the original Deus Ex, like I played through the first level, I think I would play that as well. Like if it had updated graphics, like I would want to see what this game is that everybody was talking about, but with updated graphics. And I'm sorry to say that, like I am a little bit of a I don't know. There's not a really
late
term.
To the party.
No. I'm a little bit of a I want to see good graphics and everything. Like as an animator, we're aesthetic people. So
it's not just the graphics though. Like I was late to the party with this game. I played it, I don't know, like 4 years ago or so. I was trying to play it. I got like 14 hours or so in.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't even think it was even halfway through the game.
Okay.
And at a certain point, I just got tired of it because the gameplay itself, the shooting mechanics, is very dated.
Yeah.
It's like basically like the reticle. I can't remember. Like it gets too big at times because you're shooting too fast, and you have to like be very precise with your shooting. It's just I don't know, like the way how like the shooting is set up is, it just doesn't fly with today's standards of shooting mechanics in video games. I don't know. Like I'd have to like relook at it again to remember how it was. I just remember it was just very clunky.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was just completely tired of messing with the game. It felt like a chore. I mean, like the game was really cool because it has a lot of decisions that you don't even notice are real decisions.
Yeah.
Like, Mass Effect has made it very popular to like lay out all your decisions in front of you.
Right.
That game was the complete opposite. It was very similar to Spec Ops: The Line, where you have a lot of decisions, but you don't even know that the decisions are there.
Yeah.
And that was really cool, the way how Deus Ex did it. And I was really liking that. And I was digging where the story was going, but just the game just felt like a chore to play. On top of the fact that it looks old.
Yeah.
I mean, like you look at the people talking, and like the way how their mouths move is very goofy.
Oh yeah.
Like just their jaw just dropping up and down as they talk.
We call that flappy jaw. Yes, that is actually probably a technical animation term. We call that flappy jaw.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So not only can it use like a aesthetic update, but it definitely needs a gameplay update. And I think like if they just kept like the same maps, or at least same map designs, same story, same characters, just redid the graphics, redid the gameplay, the combat systems.
Yeah.
I think they actually have something that they can sell.
Yeah. Yeah, that's potentially certainly a thing. I'm curious though, like, because I always think about these things. I'm curious though, like how, who would be their audience on that? Like, are we looking at? Do you think you would make it into a console shooter as well, or do you think you would? Do you think it needs to stay as a PC only? I mean, PC is like, it's still growing in popularity, right? As far as I'm aware, like
I mean, like I don't
especially with the crossplay with Xbox One and all its variants.
I think Square Enix would make it a console game.
Yeah.
I mean,
which inherently would like change a lot of the mechanics, especially like the shooting.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the whole like inventory system. I mean, they probably have to like streamline it more. Which I mean, they did that with like the current Deus Ex games.
Yeah.
but I don't think it would be that big of a deal. I don't know.
Yeah. So not to dissuade it, I would love
Yeah.
to see this as well.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, what market does it fall into is kind of a question that I imagine that that Square Enix is even asking. Although Square Enix is making everything, pretty much everything, on PC and console these days, so it could have a broad audience.
I feel like large publishers, they at this point they will not exclusively release something on PC. I mean, like you look at XCOM 2, which originally on release it was PC exclusive, but now it's on the current generation consoles. I mean, like
even Blizzard.
Yeah,
with Overwatch and Diablo, they never did. WoW never made it to consoles, right? No. But I imagine if they were to do things over again, I'm sure they would.
I'm surprised Hearthstone's not on consoles.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Or mobile. Or is it mobile?
It's
mobile, right?
It's on it's on mobile.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's why. That's probably more the market for Hearthstone, for a card-based battle game.
Yeah. All right, what's next on your list?
Next I've got and actually this might, who knows, might be happening.
It is.
Is it?
Yes, it is. It definitely is. It's happening.
King's Field, From Software. This was an early game from them. This was a PS1 game.
From Software being the developer of
Dark
the Souls games. Yes.
Yep. Because apparently they're moving on to it. I think they're rebooting another, is what some of the rumors are that I've been seeing on YouTube. I'm not originating these rumors. I'm not. Well, I guess I am.
You heard it here first. Exclusive.
I know nobody
confirmation
at From Software or their publisher, so I have no idea. No, but like people are suspecting, I think, that it's going to be Armored Core rather than King's Field, most likely.
Okay.
But anyway, yes, King's Field would the original game. I was replaying it, I think 2 autumns ago, and this was when I was in a different state because I used the word autumn instead of just late summer. But
well, I did fancy the fact that you said 2 autumns ago,
yes,
rather than like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was specifically in the fall. I remember it. So anyway, I was replaying it, and like I was really, really enjoying myself. I don't know if it was entirely nostalgia of replaying a game that I hadn't played in however long, 20 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I was enjoying it right up until I got to a room that I locked myself into and couldn't get out of, and there was a save spot in there, and I ended up saving while I was in this locked room that I can't get out of. So that would be the one update that I would like to see from this game, is don't make a room that you can get yourself locked into and save over your file.
That's
and
the best part.
Not be able to get out and have to restart the game. So I rage quit, and but that was like the first time that I played any like first person hack and slash RPG type of game. Like I said, I didn't grow up with PC. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any experience on like those dungeon crawlers that were like I think the early Elder Scrolls games were first person as well, right?
Yeah, they've been always first person.
Yeah, so I didn't have that experience to fall back onto. That was my first introduction into that, and I've been a big RPG fan over the years, and really enjoyed it. The difficulty on that game is definitely a thing, but it's totally something that you can. It's totally a game that you can cheese too. Like once you figure out, like any other From Software game, right? Like once you figure out how to defeat that enemy, like you can totally cheese it then. Mm-hmm. But like the atmosphere of the game, again, like many other From Software games, that darkness of it, like the first King's Field, there's one room There's one area in the entire game where you can actually see like blue sky, and everywhere else it's like night, or you're just in these caves and everything. But yeah, like just a very dark game, gritty. Yeah, just very interesting, really cool atmosphere to the game. The storytelling in it was all it was pretty much all done through gameplay. Things that people what's the right term? Is it loud? Yeah, things that people praise, like BioShock for doing, of telling their story entirely through gameplay rather than cutscene and then tell your story. Blah,
I
blah,
think
blah.
like Half-Life was like the first one that really nailed that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was probably the first one that really executed it, but or did it. But I know it was at least it was like the very first one that like popularized it.
Yeah.
Not sure if it was like the first one that did it. I think it was the first one that did it, but
yeah,
it popularized it.
Yep. So yeah, along the lines of those types of games, like I think it was a great achievement. I got to replay Kingsfield 2. I know that expanded on the story quite a bit more. And then there were also a couple. Unfortunately, I haven't played like the PS2, and I think there might have even been a PS3 Kingsfield as well. By that point, I don't know. I was just into different games by that point, and I think I was in college, so starting to get busy. Where I'm in the animation lab for 24 hours out of the day. Not quite that much. Almost like 20. 23 and 50 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, I got 10 minutes of sleep. So so yeah, my time that I could spend on those games started becoming less and less. So
all right.
Yeah.
Move on.
No, let's just linger on that.
Okay, so keep talking about more Kingsfield.
Yeah.
Spoiler: the field is owned by the king.
Yeah. Actually, it isn't until the second game that you actually go to the field that is owned by the king.
Oh man.
Or something like that. Oh, sorry.
Spoilers.
I thought
spoilers.
Sorry, 20 years is not enough.
Oh man, now I can't play the game.
No.
I can't. I already know.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah. Do you have any more? Or no.
All right, so the next game on my list I'd like to see remade is a Super Mario RPG. I never beat the game. I remember getting pretty far in it.
I actually did beat that game. That was back in the era when I was actually finishing RPGs.
I mean, like it was at the time. It was developed by SquareSoft, now currently known as Square Enix,
or Squeenix.
Squeenix,
yes.
Before Enix bought Square because they spent all their money making a bad movie and went bankrupt.
Moment of silence.
Yep. Yeah, just some people think it's the other way around, that Square bought Enix because it's Square Enix, but it's actually Enix buying Square because Square done goofed with that movie that no one ever watched. Well, in fact, I don't know what I'm talking about. What movie?
Yeah, what movie? No. I was watching that movie and in the theaters, and I think the projector bulb burnt out in the middle of it. And like they were like, "Oh yeah, just bring your ticket stub back, and we'll let you get in for the movie again." Never did it. I was like, "Nah, I'm good."
Anyways,
good story,
yeah.
Right?
Super Mario RPG.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah. So Super Mario RPG, it was like the first Mario game that was an RPG. Like now we have like the Paper Marios. We have like the Mario Luigi Superstar Saga. And like I hear those are really good, but the thing is those come out on like the DS and 3DS, which I don't own.
Yeah.
So never played them. But like Super Mario RPG, I had like a turn-based RPG mechanics similar to like the Final Fantasy games at the time. Although it did have like some like contextual stuff, like if you hit the attack button right when Mario is attacking, it makes it stronger.
Yeah, he would keep bouncing on the character, and if you timed it right, you would like keep bouncing over and over again. I think, right?
Yeah,
Was that
like
Mario? Or no, he had the hammer too.
yeah, he
and
had
that one
the
would,
hammer, and like all sorts of like it depended on the attack.
yeah,
From what I remember, it was a while ago.
yeah. I remember the bounce attack, like that one. You could keep doing that
and it was like all
like forever.
depending on your timing.
Yeah,
So that was innovative for the time.
yeah,
Making the turn-based RPG more action-oriented as well.
Yep.
It also, from what I remember, had like platforming as well, right? Like some
Yeah.
isometric platforming.
yeah. Yeah.
Because the game was like from an isometric view. But it was a very clever game. The story was fun. It had some original characters like Mallow and Gino, which a lot of people love those characters, and they never showed up in any other game ever. I think because Square owned those characters, and that's why like they didn't bring them back in any other Nintendo game.
That was also the first time that Square ventured out of their own IP, or Squeenix or whatever.
Yeah.
That was the first time that they ventured out of their own IP eventually to go on and do the Disney games there as well. So that was also kind of an interesting test for, I think, Square to say, all right, what can we do if we have these restrictions of these other IP, not IP addresses, but yeah. Like how do we fit a mechanic that makes sense for those games? And they did an awesome job with that.
Yeah, it was a great game. I don't think you need to update anything with the mechanics. Just mainly just update the graphics, make it high res, make it crisp looking.
Yeah.
I mean the graphics.
4K.
Yeah,
4K HDR.
I mean, like the graphics, despite it being like sprites of 3D renders, it still looks good today. It's just blurry looking.
Yeah.
Just, make them look the same, make them more sharp looking, and it would make money. Come on, Nintendo.
Yeah. You like money, right?
Yeah. No, Nintendo obviously doesn't like money. They never release enough hardware.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they don't like.
Oh, yeah, hardware. Yeah, they're like, yeah, we'd rather only a few people get our stuff. We don't really want to make all the money.
Yeah.
We just want to make some.
Yeah. They would rather have the fans make money by reselling their items.
Yeah.
Than to make money themselves.
Yeah. They just want shrines made in their honor. That's all. Like, I mean, just because I have 2 at my apartment, like, one for Metroid, one for Zelda. Well, Link and Zelda, and Ganon, and Tingle.
Tingle.
No.
I know who Tingle is.
Yeah. He's green. You see, if I'm Link, you're Tingle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey. Anyways,
nice. Yeah.
Anyways,
but actually, that's a good segue into my next one.
Sure.
Yeah. If you're done,
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. We could talk more about Super Mario RPG.
Yeah.
But
so this actually has nothing to do with Zelda. It's a terrible segue. But you were mentioning about how it was like the Super Mario RPG was like one of the first RPGs that kind of brought more like action or other genre elements into it.
Yeah.
And mine for that would be Xenogears. Obviously one of the best RPGs ever made, bar none. That nobody seems to ever play. Like, I always talk to people. They're like, "Oh yeah, I heard that was good, but I never played it." I'm like, "No, you need to play it." Yeah. Oh, see, yeah,
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
I know about those Xenos.
Yeah, Xenos and the Gears.
No, I don't know anything. Is it Gears of War?
Yes, it's Xenogears of War.
Xeno Gears of War.
Yeah, Xenogears of Warframe. Yeah,
with the Marios.
Yeah, only one Mario.
One Mario, one Mario bro,
Yeah.
one Mario brother.
What you talking about, bro? But yeah, this game brought in kind of some fighting game elements, of like adding combos to your attacks, having like weak, medium, and heavy punches and kicks or attacks or whatever.
Mhm.
And I think this game, like, this falls in that weird area, like I was like we were discussing offline, online, offline, where
Off podcast.
yeah. Where I don't know, I actually don't know how it would work as a remake or a remaster. This is one of the PS1 era, like 3D environment but sprite based characters.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I don't really know how you would modernize that if you would just stick with the 3D environment and make a full 3D character
Mhm.
that can move around, and now you've just got like a 3D isometric game. Or if you'd figure out some other way of, anyway, that's for people smarter than me to come up with. But yeah, awesome story. It'd be nice if they could flesh out the story and actually add in the stuff that they had to cut,
Mhm.
or at least rumor is that they had to cut it because they just kind of tell 30% of the story in like of the video game equivalent of VO, of the exposition.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like a cutscene of, I think if I recall correctly, it's been a while, where like, oh man, I can't even think of the main character. All I can think of is Fran, but it's not that.
Mario.
Faye, right? Faye. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm gonna confirm.
We're gonna call him Faye right now.
I have no idea.
Okay, where he's like sitting in a dark room, I think, and like they just got text scrolling on this dark room, and it's like, here's what happened while I was gone.
Mhm.
Just really weird way of like, it unfortunately does the thing that they always say in games and movies not to do, of they are telling, not showing. But the game would have been like 800 hours long, I think, if they had, maybe not 800, but I think it was like a 60 or 70 hour game as it was. I think that's
if they remake it, then they would make it into a 40-hour game.
Dude, yeah, keep cutting stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, later on we did get like the Xenosaga where they tried breaking it up over multiple games.
Mhm.
But again, that was one where I think it was supposed to be like 7 or 8 games, and they ended up only making 3, unfortunately.
Was Xenogears the one that was on PS1?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And had like that dude with like the hair.
Faye.
Yeah.
Or whatever his name is. Yes. But
okay.
Yes. Yeah.
He was on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know the whole game now.
Yeah.
I remember.
You saw the cover.
I saw the
whole
cover.
game.
I know.
Spoiler
everything.
alert.
Yeah.
The cover spoils the whole game.
Yeah, he has hair. He had a white shirt too, right?
Yeah, and I think blue pants, I want to say.
Boom.
Yeah. Probably brown shoes.
In fact, you just spoiled the game for me. In fact, why do I want to play this now?
Yeah. And it's interesting though, like one thing that I thought was really cool about that game, spoilers maybe a little bit, was like, the Empire, because it's always like an Empire in RPGs from the 90s, right?
Yeah.
The Empire is like tracking your movements through the save crystals that you use to save your game.
Oh wow.
So it kind of makes sense in the game. Excuse me, and also it kind of plays a plot point. So I'm curious though, if there's YouTubers out there that are listening to this, that do runs and testing out. I would love to see it. I'm sure it doesn't, but if you go through and never save, if they'll be like, oh, we have no idea where you, and that changes the whole third act of the game.
Considering it
I'm
being
sure it doesn't.
a Japanese RPG, I don't think it gets that deep. I mean, usually Japanese RPGs like focus on telling like a single narrative, rather than like giving you like tons of options, which is more Western RPGs.
Sure, yeah. It would be. I mean, like that would be awesome if they just made this entire branching storyline. Just if you made it through the game without saving at all up
And
to
then
that point.
and then they have Psycho Mantis telling you that you
Yeah.
play Mario Sunshine.
Yes. You played Mario Sunshine. I don't know. That's not a Psycho Mantis voice at all. Moving on.
All right, moving on. So next game on my list, or this is more like a group of games, would be the Castlevania games on the DS.
The DS?
Yes.
Or the GBA?
More the DS. I mean, like,
What were the ones that were on the DS?
well, like the ones on the DS and the GBA were all really good. I owned them all
Yeah.
at one point, and then I sold them all. Because I stopped playing them.
Things we do for money.
I needed money at the
Yeah.
time. I remember there was Harmony of Dissonance. Was the first one because no, it wasn't Harmony.
That was the
Harmony
360 one, wasn't it?
Harmony of
Now
No. Okay, I remember it was Dawn of Sorrow
Oh, no,
was
I'm
the-
thinking
because
of
it was DS,
Harmony.
Dawn of Sorrow. So
Oh.
DS was the first one, and then it was like something about mirrors was the next one, and then Order of Ecclesia was the third one. There's three
Oh.
of them on there. I never played Order of Ecclesia because it came out like really late in the DS life cycle, and I was done playing mobile games mobile handheld devices. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
I was done playing handheld devices at the time because I didn't really have any time to play them.
Yeah.
So I never played Order of Ecclesia, but like a lot of people say the best Castlevania game is Symphony of the Night.
Yes.
Like people
I
like
literally just bought that.
yeah, they're
bought
like,
that game yesterday.
hands
on
down
Xbox.
Symphony of the Night's the best one. But like I feel like a lot of those people did not play any of the GBA or DS ones
Potentially.
because those are just as good. I'm not gonna say they're better. I'm not gonna say they're worse, but I say like they're just on par with the quality.
Yeah.
Like they're basically the same. They follow the same blueprint as far as like what you do. You got your sub RPG system with like the inventory, and you got your weapons that you unlock, and you got the whole map that you explore.
But does the castle turn upside down?
I remember there were some twists with some of them. One of them had multiple maps. You had to like go through different mirrors, either mirrors or portraits. You had to go in them, and then like it was like this whole like you go into. I think it was a portrait. It was like
That makes me think of another game.
big portrait of like a pyramid, and you jump into it, and it's like this Egyptian place, and then another one's like this psycho circus. You jump in there, and so like it was like multiple maps, and you go back out, and it's like this main map that had all those little maps. But I mean overall, like they're just really good games. The only one that they'd probably have to like redo some gameplay mechanics would be Dawn of Sorrow, because that had a few touchscreen puzzles.
Yeah.
Because at the time, developers are trying to implement as much touch into the DS as possible, and then over time, they had less and less touch.
Yeah. You got the touch.
And also, I think I think the game's basically one screen was the gameplay and the other screen was the map.
Yeah.
So it's not really necessary to have two screens for those games.
Yeah.
Especially
Especially if you have it in 4K HDR.
So I would like to see those games, remade with like sharper graphics and just available like, on like modern consoles or whatever.
Yeah.
Because those are just really good games. And
just remake them in Flash. Konami. Just remake them in Flash.
Konami doesn't want to make games. They don't like money.
None of the developers do they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mainly it's Japanese ones.
Yeah.
For some reason, they don't like releasing things.
Yeah.
I don't know. maybe the culture is so different there that they hate money. Is money like the source of all evil to them?
I don't know.
It might be because
I'm
I'm
not
pretty sure. I'm
Japanese.
pretty sure it's true.
Yeah.
Money is the source of all evil,
Uh,
or at least half.
yeah. It's like half source. So it's like the mama, not the dad.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I would like to see like a Castlevania DS HD collection.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Then like Konami could come out and be like, all right, indie devs, boom, this is what a Metroidvania is supposed to be. I mean, a Castlevania. I mean, sorry, no, not Metroid, Castlevania. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yep.
But I love me some Metroidvanias. I definitely love me Metroidvanias.
I like how Igarashi's new game,
yeah,
the one where you play as the female, like he
the
didn't
not Castlevania.
Yeah, like he didn't want to call it a Metroidvania. He called it something else. Oh, he couldn't say Castlevania.
Yeah,
and he refused to say Metroidvania.
Yeah, it's totally a Metroid Ori and the Blind Forest, type of game.
Exactly. I think
he just substitutes one of the ones that were inspired by Castlevania.
I think the only thing he would say is it's similar to my previous work.
Yeah,
or something along those lines.
Yeah,
like he refused to call it Metroidvania, and he's not allowed to say Castlevania.
Yeah, he probably likes not getting sued.
Yeah,
that would probably be something to strive for.
All right, next on your list.
Oh, my list. I have one here, but actually one of the things that you said made me think of an old SNES game that I would love to see remade, which is Soul Blazer.
Soul Blazer.
Yeah,
Soul
Crickets.
Blazer.
Crickets.
Oh, is that that's the one where? Hold on, don't tell me. It's the one where you are like your god, and you basically you're building a city. And then you like go down into the city, and then it's like a side scroller, and you fight dudes. Is that the one?
That's ActRaiser, which is a sequel, I believe, of Soul Blazer.
Okay.
Yeah, Soul Blazer. Again, was the predecessor to ActRaiser, and you're like this like quote unquote angel that's sent by the gods to go to these. There's like all these areas where I think there's like 4 different areas in the game that you can go to, and you go into these areas, which are cities. They're basically towns, and like nobody's around, right? And then you go in, but there's like this portal into some other area that's linked to the main city somehow. I think they do one sub level that is like, if it's a mining town, like it's the mines that you go into. There's another one where it's there's like a swamp town, and you go into the swamp. But you go in there, and then like as you're fighting through the action part of the level, that's opening up, it's unlocking people, like you're rescuing people, and you go back to the town, and they'll give you, they might give you an item that unlocks another part of it, and you'll they'll give you an item that might unlock the next part of it, or like you can upgrade your character, and it had RPG elements to it as well, in terms of I think you could upgrade your life. I don't know if this is really an RPG element, but I think there was experience in the game, if I recall correctly. You would upgrade your life, you would upgrade the damage that you do, et cetera, et cetera. And then finally, there's like a final dungeon. And the thing that made me think of that was in the first town, there's somebody who is sucked into a painting, and you have to like go into that painting and do battle in the painting. And there's another level where there's like a model, like a toy, like a model train setup sort of thing. And you have to go into there, and you fight enemies in that area, and you unlock stuff in the main. And I think that one was the doctor's workshop or something like that. But really, really cool game. I really enjoyed it playing that. when I was younger.
I think
I think I replayed it on emulator, about 10 years or so ago, and it held up pretty well. Probably some of the mechanics or the controls and everything that could probably use some updating, because again, this is like, Link to the Past era sort of fighting mechanics. And now if you have with like analog sticks where you can attack in any direction and stuff, I think it would make it a bit more enjoyable. But that would be one that I would absolutely love to see, like, remake this. Please, just whoever owns the rights to it. I don't even know. It is Enix.
Yes.
So Squeenix, please remake, remaster, remake, sort of like what you're doing with Secret of Mana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man,
Yeah,
that game. By the way,
about that later.
Yeah. By the way, that game totally would have been on this list if they hadn't released that video 2 days ago.
So I think I played a little bit of Soul Blazer. I played ActRaiser emulated, and then I was like, "This is a really cool game. Let me see if there's like more like it." And then I played ActRaiser 2, and I was like, "This is nothing like ActRaiser." It was like purely just action game, side-scrolling action game. And I was like, "Okay." And I saw there's Soul Blazer, like in the wiki page. I was like, "Oh, let me check this out." And I played like 10 minutes. It's like, this is nothing like ActRaiser.
Yeah. If you want something like that's a little more modern, that is inspired by or I don't know, I forget if it's inspired or if it is like a direct sequel, I believe it's called Illusion of Gaia.
Okay, that's why I looked up Soul Blazer, because I think because I play Illusion of Gaia and I love that.
Yeah, that was a fantastic game.
That, like, I don't know, like the story was so weird, but I loved it.
Again, it comes down to atmosphere of these games. Like, it had this really creepy, like Soul Blazer has this really, really creepy atmosphere. And growing up, when I was younger, when I was a teenager playing these games, the fact that like you could get sucked into a painting and now you're like trapped in there, or into a model train station sort of thing, like really, really creepy and really cool. I mean, it was like, it's like Beetlejuice, right? You're like these little guys that's running around the model in Beetlejuice.
So Illusion of Gaia, like I know there's like 3 games that's like in that series or something like that.
Yeah, I think I only played the first one.
But
I
like
don't know
the only one that's like worth playing is Illusion of Gaia, I think. I don't know, because I looked up the other ones and like they came out before. I know one of them came out before, and it was like I played. I was like, this is junk. But and it didn't even look anywhere near as good. But like and I don't know. I want to say no, never mind. But anyways, so I was playing some Illusion of Gaia, or I played through Illusion of Gaia, and I just love the way how like you mentioned the atmosphere. It's just really has some creepy stuff and weird stuff. Just the fact that you could switch between like the 2 different heroes. Like one is like this night dude, and then the other one's like this like water spirit thing.
Well, each world that you're in, you have like this ability that allows you to, I think, transform, and you get like powers that are specific to that area.
Yeah.
So I think I think Moo was you could transform into this water thing that like you could go through drains and stuff.
Yeah, and then like just go into like the save points and you see Gaia. Like Gaia herself looks so creepy, and it was like really cool, like the way how like you walk up to her and she talks to you, and just like the whole atmosphere, and like you're kind of like in space or something like that. And then the last boss is just ridiculous.
Man. Now I want From Software to remake these games under Square Enix. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
get From Software to remake these games, because I don't know if anybody is doing atmosphere as well as From Software these days.
Yeah,
especially like a dark, weird atmosphere.
Yeah.
For my money.
So the last game on my list.
I have a couple bonus ones afterwards.
Okay.
So.
This one is a game I haven't played, and the reason why I want to remake this is just a cheap item to put on the list. I mean, like a cheap answer, but I would like to have Red Dead Redemption remastered.
Okay.
Just just to make it HD and release it on current consoles, only because I don't want to play it on PS3.
Yeah.
That's it. I just like I really want to play the game. Everyone says it's amazing. They say it's like from like so many people I hear, it's like easily within the top 5 games of last generation.
Yeah.
So I want to experience it myself and make it HD.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you guys have the assets, to easily, bump it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just tighten the graphics on level 3 a little bit. I mean,
level 3 specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know some people that went to Collins College, and they just like every time they hear that, they groan. They're like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Did you go there because of that commercial?" They're like, "No, definitely not."
Did they bump up the graphics in level 3?
Yeah. One of them is a level designer that I know, so yeah, he especially gets tired of it, especially since he keeps getting assigned to level 3 every time.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my list. I
feel like modders could do that, right? Like GTA modders, come on. GTA 5 modders.
I mean, it's only on PS3 and 360, so it's not as easy to mod.
Oh yeah.
It's not a PC game, which
right, yeah. But yeah, I mean, well, look at what modders did for like Skyrim and everything. Like some of the graphics mods and texture mods and everything.
They look the game looks completely different.
Yeah. So, yeah, that would be interesting. I did end up, I forget if I think I bought that game late. I think I bought it after I got an Xbox One. I am playing it, or I say I am playing it, meaning I have a file started on my Xbox One, and I basically never touch it for months on end. And then I'll play it for 5 minutes, maybe a couple hours, and then set it aside for months on end.
Yeah, I think I own it on PS3. Like I from what I remember, I think I saw it on sale like during like a flash sale for like $5.
Yeah,
on the PlayStation Store. Maybe I can't remember. I don't know. It's just like I have a PS4 now, and like I don't like booting up the PS3 because it's so slow, and compared to PS4 and PC.
Yeah.
So I don't like playing games on PS3 anymore. Plus, my controllers are kind of dead. It's like
the batteries just won't hold the charge anymore.
Yeah, and like the cord's too short for me to play from like couch and have it.
Yeah, they give you what, like a 3-foot cord, I think,
So
with
like probably 2 foot. Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'm gonna play this far away from the screen.
And so I can't have it plugged in and playing at the same time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm kind of done with my PS3.
Yeah.
I haven't packed it up or anything. It's still under my TV down there, but it's not plugged into the TV since I only have so many ports on there.
It's only good for making hamburgers now.
Yeah,
like low-fat hamburgers.
Yeah,
it's a George Foreman.
Yes,
right.
I know you're talking about.
Yes,
I know what you're talking about.
Right.
But mine's a PS3 Slim.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's very low-fat hamburgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the Slim part comes in.
But
yeah, that's it on my list.
I got one bonus one that I would love to see. And I'm surprised, honestly, looking at this is totally tongue-in-cheek. I'm surprised that looking at the other E3 games, or games that Xbox showed coming out for the Xbox One X, also known as Xbox.
Yes.
Not at all confusing. Considering all the other games that they showed on there, I'm surprised they didn't announce this in 4K HDR as well, is Thomas Was Alone. I want to see those blocks in 4K HDR.
I
like just squares.
I love that game. I mean, like I think I almost cried
Yeah.
while playing that game. You
It's
know,
a great game.
Oh, a game about
You should definitely play it if you haven't played it.
literally rectangles.
Yes, but each rectangle has so much character.
Yes,
It's awesome.
I fell in love with these rectangles.
Yes.
It's so stupid.
Yes.
Like anyone can like make this in with like
All you need is just
Unity.
All you need is just a dude with a soothing, like some British bloke with a soothing voice, like deep soothing voice, to narrate your whole game, and like you'll fall in love with the characters.
You
So
know,
that is what Thomas Was Alone.
well, we're
is.
talking about Thomas
also
is Alone.
Good deconstruction of platforming games.
So my senior project I made for school is a 2D platformer,
Nice.
and like I got inspiration from multiple things, multiple games to
Yeah.
make the game. Like one, so the game is like an anti-bullying game, and like one big inspiration was
Bully.
no Papa EO, which
Okay.
is, I don't know if you heard of it, but it's like it's an indie game that is kind of like about like a kid and a imaginary monster, and the monster is actually his dad, like abusive father when he's drunk.
Yeah.
But so that was like I felt like I want to make a game that I want to share like my own personal story, and I went through bullying like a lot of people have went through bullying, but
Yeah.
I felt like I went through a lot of bullying, mainly because I was getting good grades and I was also shy, so that made me an easy target. But when I was like working on like how am I going to make this game, like I started off basically making Thomas is Alone.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, I don't have the graphics yet, so I'm gonna make a rectangle, and then I'm gonna make them jump up and down. And
Yeah.
and the level was all I didn't have any of the graphics, so I was just making just rectangles and blocks.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I got Thomas is Alone right now, no voice, no narrative,
No soothing British guy.
Yeah.
That's why you didn't sell millions of copies. You needed
Yeah.
the soothing British guy.
I mean, like even when I got like I eventually added the graphics. I had a friend do the graphics for me. Like all the characters are still shapes.
Yeah.
Well, like they're not
Blocked out.
Well, basically, if you look up my my game Beware the Bully, there's a link on the Out of Continues website on the side. Click on that, you can find the game. Like the characters are like rectangles and other shapes. Like there's a T and there's an H and an upside down T, but they all have like faces and they're wearing pants and they have arms and legs.
Yeah.
So they're not like completely.
They're not naked
just,
shapes.
yeah.
They have pants.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I'll have to check that out. For sure.
One other thing that you need to check out, and something that doesn't even need to be remade, does not need to be remade at all, because it's still relevant, still great today, tomorrow, yesterday, every day.
I don't know. Time's moving fast.
Well, this is timeless.
Oh, okay.
You want to know what it is? You want to take a guess at what it is?
What is timeless?
No, what the thing I'm talking about is.
You're talking about the news.
No.
No. Oh,
I'm talking about DreamHost.
Man. DreamHost?
DreamHost,
Oh.
yes. DreamHost. They're a web service.
I know nothing about DreamHost. Could you tell me more?
Yeah, I could tell you all about DreamHost.
Oh, okay.
They are a web service. They offer unlimited storage, unlimited bandwidth, user-friendly interface. They are also optimized to use content managers such as WordPress and many more features. All that just for $7.95 US a month. That's cheaper than Netflix. That's like
$795?
no
$7.
$7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. $7.95
All
US.
right. Yes.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's like about the price of a sandwich.
Dude, that's like 0.0000001 bitcoins or something like that.
Yeah,
That's cheap.
and it gets even better. If you use the promo code Out of Continues, That's one word, no spaces, just Attica Continues together as forming one word. It'll waive away the setup fee and get you a free domain registration.
Sounds like a deal.
You don't even need an HD remake because it's already all the D's.
All the D's?
All the D's.
H, I, J, even K. Nice.
So yeah. On top of that, got one quick announcement before we move on to the news, and that is we can use some iTunes reviews. If you use an iPhone, I'm pretty sure you probably have iTunes. Please leave a review. It's one of the single most helpful things you could do for the show because basically the Apple podcast charts they go week by week as far as reviews go. And so like if I don't have any reviews on a given week, it's as if I don't have any reviews at all. And also they go more by the quantity of reviews rather than the quality of reviews. So yeah, please leave reviews. It's the single most helpful thing you could do is to help spread the word of the show. But if you can't leave a review on iTunes for whatever reason, I know there's like plenty of reasons why you can't leave one. You already left a review for one, or plenty of other reasons. You can still help out the show by spreading the word on social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter. Every week, I always post on both of those our new episode, and if you want to like give it a like or a thumbs up, or on Twitter it's like a heart, or if you want to retweet or share, that also helps. Spread the word of the podcast. It just makes the podcast more fun when there's more listeners because that means more people are interacting with us. So yeah, tell a friend, tell your family. If you don't like us, tell an enemy.
Yeah, they'll like us.
Yeah.
If
you don't like this podcast, then go tell someone you don't like. Be like, yo, go listen to Attica Continues because you might as well be grouped with those fools.
Yeah. What about MySpace? Do you have a MySpace?
You know what?
You're not keeping up your MySpace.
My
stuff?
MySpace is the most up to date since probably 2006.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Pretty up to date.
Also, as far as the quantity, not quality of reviews, that does not mean that 5 1-star reviews is as good as a 5-star review.
Yes. Yeah.
Or is it?
Well, it's more like
no good reviews and many quality. So 5-star reviews is
a podcast with like 500 3-star reviews will definitely show up higher on their charts than a podcast that has 1 5-star review.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, let's move on.
All right.
And while the listeners can't hear me because I'm away from the mic, I'm going to screen share. Okay.
The news.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the news. I'm back. Hello. My voice is not far away anymore. So yeah, let's talk about the news real quick. The first news topic we have on here is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Microsoft is now officially the publisher for the Xbone version, the Xbox One version of the game. Microsoft is officially their publisher. So yeah, like they have been getting a lot of publicity for their game. There's like a big zeitgeist around this game right now. I haven't purchased it or played it, mainly because it's like an early access game, and I am no longer a supporter of early access games. I've been burned too many times and seen others get extremely burned. So I have a policy of wait until the game gets released. But yeah, it looks like it's
with the publisher, that's big steps.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, developer Bluehole and Microsoft have revealed they are expanding their partnership with Microsoft, now sets to publish the Xbox One version. This means the company will lend its expertise to development. Bluehole says this will allow it to develop the console version more quickly. Boom.
Yeah.
And also, they'll probably help them with QA, because it's hard for indie developer to get QA, bug testers to continuously play the game and point out bugs. So having a publisher there, they can have their QA team do bug reports for them.
Yeah.
And help them fine tune the game.
Yeah. For sure.
Because from what I hear,
More stable
the game is very early access right now.
Yeah.
My brother Ali was on last week. We're talking about this, and he mentioned that it seems very early access right now, very buggy. There's a lot of exploits. Some people getting banned for using those exploits. But it's like,
all right,
it's like, hey, the game's buggy. What you gonna do?
Yeah, that seems to me that seems extreme, but they do have to protect against. They want to keep it fun for as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of makes sense too.
Yeah.
It sucks, but yeah, until they can patch it out, right? They probably have to do something to keep their player base happy.
Yeah. So anything else you have to say about that?
No. Best of luck to them.
Yeah. It's always great to hear when a small developer is gaining success.
Yeah.
Just don't fumble the ball and don't let it get to your head.
Yeah. Sports metaphors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm kidding. I like sports.
Don't go all McGregor and go into a different sport. No, he didn't do bad.
Is that going to become a thing now? People are going to say, "Oh, you really McGregor that one."
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. Pretty
like
much
that.
anything Irish can sound good if you use it as as a verb, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you McGregor that one.
All right. So the next one, next news article I have on here. So, what's this dude's name? So I'm having issues loading up the news.
Jackathan?
The
writer.
The writer, yes, the writer of Half-Life, who has left Valve for like 18 months now. It's been over a year. And like I'm stuck on this stupid like Reddit page. Loading. Yeah, it's loading up the wazoo. And I don't want to like lean too forward to the.
Is that McLeodlaw? Is that the guy's name, or is that the? Yeah. You guys are getting a Staffa close up now.
Hello.
Yeah. Now you get to see what he looks like. For real.
I don't think it's on that page.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think you have to click into.
Are you able to click on yours?
Oh yeah, let me try.
Yeah. So the.
No, I'm not connected to your Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, the lead writer of let me get the mic back here. The lead writer of Half-Life, he left Valve like, over a year ago, and he posted on GitHub a
Did he? Okay. I was gonna say I think he posted it on his blog.
Oh yeah,
and then it was copied.
Oh
to
yeah,
GitHub.
because his blog kept on going down because so much traffic.
Yeah.
But basically he wrote what he claims to be a fan fiction, and he called it Episode 3.
Epistle 3.
Oh yeah, Epistle 3. Yes, it was like he changed like the names and also genders of characters. Like Gordon Freeman is like Gertrude.
I think he kept the last names, didn't he?
Fremont.
Oh, okay.
Like Gertrude Fremont, but like you could tell who's who. And basically, so it's really long, and I'm a slow reader, so I had Ali give me the too long didn't read. Ali,
We
this is
used
what
to call those Cliff's notes,
yes.
but then I don't know what happened to Cliff. It's like he's gone or something.
I don't know who Cliff even is.
Yeah, Cliffy B. It's the Cliffy B notes.
He doesn't like to be called Cliffy B.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Clifford Blazinski.
Okay.
So, according to the Clifford notes that Ali wrote for me, he says they take their secret base to the Arctic. Turns out Combine has mother lode base there. They didn't know. That one female scientist wants to protect the ship and its technical secrets, but Alex's dad said to destroy it. So
Alex's mom in the in the notes,
Yeah,
or
but-
in the version that was written.
Yeah. So Alex's dad basically destroys the Combine. Well, it said to destroy it so the Combine won't get it. So you guys, against the judgment of the scientists, pilot it directly into the base to detonate it, and then there is some hidden message stuff in there about Valve and Gabe. So that's what Ali
And
told me.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
No,
Okay.
confirmed. Half-Life 3 confirmed to never come out.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. This is episode 3, right?
Yes.
So this is a sequel in the sequels to Half-Life 2.
Yeah. So
This
original
is like the events leading up to Half-Life 3.
originally it was supposed to be Half-Life 2 episodes. There's episode 1, episode 2, and then like episode 3 was slated to come out like within a year after episode 2, because their whole plan was to make these shorter bits,
Episodic, yeah.
episodic bits, so that they can release them quicker. And then episode 3 never came out, and people were waiting and then at a certain point it didn't become waiting for episode 3, but just becoming Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
Because people are expecting, it's not gonna be episode 3 at this point since it's so long. They're gonna release Half-Life 3 at this point.
Yeah.
And then Half-Life 3 never came out. So that's basically what the writer of Half-Life, like this guy basically wrote all of Half-Life. Like it's not Gabe Newell that wrote Half-Life. It's this guy who is the narrative lead.
Yeah.
The guy who is in charge of writing
The story.
the story. Yeah. He's basically to the story as like Hideo Kojima is to the story of Metal Gear. So and he basically said that's what the idea was for them to do. I mean, like, it's just so, like, the whole like thing with like Half-Life, where it's gone, is just so bizarre. Like the fact that they started getting on a roll with releasing these episodes,
Yeah.
and then they like stopped for whatever reason. It makes no sense. Like,
Yeah.
and then now it's like they lost all interest in it. And like I've heard Gabe Newell talk about it a little bit on a podcast, the Nerdist podcast. Like he basically said that they only work on stuff that they have interest in, and right now they really don't have interest in Half-Life.
Yeah.
They're interested in Dota right now, and apparently a Dota card game now.
Yeah.
So, it's just so bizarre that they, lost all interest in what a lot of people feel like gave Valve their identity. And, like I feel like maybe they lost interest because they have so much to, like, there's the expectation so high that it's impossible for them to reach that expectation.
Yeah.
Like they gotta wrap up the story, or people want conclusions to the story, and people aren't going to get the answers that they want. Like it's not going to be good enough because there's so many like fan theories and whatever. And you know, the internet is so good at like collectively coming up with crazy theories and whatever.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like, what's G-Man? You know, or I mean, G-Man technically has no name in the game, but everyone calls him G-Man.
Right.
It's like, if they explained what G-Man is, it will never be as good as what people think he is. So that would have to be something that would be unexplained as the game wraps up.
Yeah. Yeah, they could take the J.J. Abrams approach and just not explain anything.
Yeah.
Right. Like the whole point of the mystery box is that you don't know what's in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they've certainly done that, haven't they? Like now we have no idea what's in the box because they're not going to tell us.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Most likely. I'm sure there's still a possibility. I've heard rumors that like, you know, people have gone up there and they've tried to jumpstart Half-Life 3 a couple times or Episode 3 a couple times, and it's just never gained traction. From what I understand, Valve has a lot more, like they have a completely flat hierarchy, and like you can go and work on like any project that you want in there. Like they don't really have producers telling you need to work on this, you need to work on that.
Yeah.
It's just you know what your skills are. You should be in the place where your skills are most valuable.
Yeah. And like all their desks have wheels so that you can literally just wheel your desk over to wherever you want to be so that you can work with the proper team. And like their games, when the credits roll, it's just all their names in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
It's like there's no like, you know, art team and, you know, whatever. Like it's just all their names in alphabetical order and that's it.
Yeah.
And then maybe you'll see Gordon Freeman in there as well.
Ooh, Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not Gertrude.
Yeah, not Gertrude. She got fired. Did you hear about that? Like over a year ago.
Oh man, like 18 months ago.
Yeah, about 18 months ago, Gertrude got fired.
Dang.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So I don't know. It's just really bizarre that you know, Valve has gone this direction. I mean, like Valve used to make some of my favorite games, like Team Fortress 2 was my favorite game for such a long time. Portal, especially Portal 2. I mean, like Portal 2, I think it's like easily in my top 10 games ever.
Yeah.
Like I would love for a Portal 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a bit. I guess I'm in the minority. I'm not a huge fan of Half-Life. How about you?
I played a lot of Counter-Strike in freshman year of college because that is when it was released and everything. I think I played a little bit of Half-Life 1 while I was there. When Half-Life 2 came out, I played through the campaign on that. But that was about the last time that I really touched it. I mostly, you know, again, I buy these games, you know, largely for the editors, to be able to go in there and try to start modding some stuff and making some maps and whatnot. But yeah, Half-Life 2 I played through, really enjoyed it. Thought it was a really solid game. I haven't played TF2. I played the Lost Coast, but none of the episodes. I think by that, Lost Coast came out, and I didn't have a graphics card for my computer that could do the HDR, so I kind of like never, like my computer got so outdated that I just never picked up the orange box, the different episodes.
Yeah.
Now that I do have it and I have Steam and it still has all that stuff, I could easily go back and play those. And maybe I will just to like see what could have been.
Yeah.
Because I've heard really great things. Like I was talking with somebody recently and they were saying that episode 2 is like he was like you know, for its time was like the best game ever.
Like I played. I didn't play Half-Life 1, and like I got the orange box for Xbox 360, and so I was like trying to play Half-Life 1. I was trying to find a way to play it, but I didn't really want to spend money. I owned it, but my younger brother redeemed the CD key.
Oh.
So I was like, I can't play this. I was kind of mad.
Thanks, younger brother.
And so
I was a younger brother, so I know what it's like. And
so
if he was here, I'd give him a high
so
five
I
right
basically like had like go through a wiki and kind of like read the summary of it, and then
Oh,
I played Half-Life 2. I was like, this game's all right. The main thing with the game is that it's a lot of teeter-totter puzzles. Like basically it's like use the gravity gun or something to pick up this item and make this teeter-totter go up so that you can walk on the ramp and then get to the other side. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not really too impressed by it.
Nowadays, I could see that. Like, physics puzzles are in everything now.
Yeah.
Physics are in every single game.
Well, it wasn't
Back
like
then,
it
it
wasn't
was-
like too many years after it came out.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because I was playing this on the 360.
Oh, right. This
Yeah.
was Orange Box.
It was. I mean, it wasn't like the game Half-Life 2 originally came out like 04, I think. Yeah, it was 04.
Yeah.
And I think this
December
was around
December 04.
I think this was around 06, 07.
Okay.
So it wasn't too much after that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't too impressed by it. And then I played Half-Life 2 Episode 1, and I played through the whole thing, and I was like, this is stupid. And then I played like Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and I got, I don't know, not too far into it. And once I came across these acid giant ant things, I was like, all right, I'm done.
Oh, the ant lions?
Yeah, the ant lions, like these, and they like explode with acid, and I was like, I'm not gonna put up with this crap. So, yeah, I didn't get too far in there at all, and but I love Portal.
Yeah. I still have to. I played Portal 1. I was late to the game on that, and I have Portal 2 on my Steam, but I just haven't played it. Oh. There. In case you're wondering what we're talking about, 20 minutes later.
I should have realized that when you noted that my face was getting all up in the camera.
Oh.
So, anyways, yeah, let's move on.
Yeah. So, episode 3, it's out. It's been released.
Yeah, episode 3. Read
Yep.
it. You guys finally
spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers to nothing. Is it still a spoiler if you're not really spoiling anything?
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
So, anyways, let's talk about the SNES Classic.
Nice.
Is this the right one?
Like every game I think we talked about is going to be on the SNES Classic, right? Just about every SNES game except for Soul Blazer.
Yeah.
And ActRaiser.
But yeah. So SNES Classic, they're adding the ability to rewind gameplay on that, which I have like mixed feelings on that. On one hand, a lot of these games, they're older games, and like game design has evolved over time. Like that's something that's like indisputable. Like you can't say like game design hasn't changed over the past 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So there are like some game design choices that are in these games that are a bit rough, and also I guess to appeal to especially the younger audience who are unfamiliar with these games, and can probably find these games to be a bit difficult. Having the rewind feature is helpful, but at the same time, also like this rewind feature is like pretty much something that's it's standard in all emulators at this point.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is for them to quote unquote compete against emulators. Although I don't know if there's any competition that even would be taking place. I mean, it's sold out in what 30 seconds or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not really any competition. Like they were gonna sell through their entire stock, no matter what. So, like they could have easily released this console without the rewind feature, and everybody still would have bought it.
Yeah, I mean, like
everybody who was online on those 30 seconds anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mentioned the reason why it's a good thing to have that, but on the other hand, like why I'm kind of mixed about this and not completely for it is that it's like you're not really beating the game if like you rewind every single time you goof up.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know.
You're not as careful. You're not going to be as calculating. It doesn't fix any sort of mechanics that are rough around the edges.
Mm-hmm.
It just gives you a quicker way of trying again.
Yeah, definitely it is a quicker way of trying again, but like it's just not like a genuine victory. I mean, I'm not trying to say like, oh, you gotta to be a true gamer, you gotta like play through this game without rewinding, but it's at the same time, it's like, are you really beating the game if like all of your mistakes are have no consequences?
That you just erase them from existence.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I goofed up. Let me rewind and do that again about 40 more times.
Yeah.
And
I'll be curious how it'll work on some of the multiplayer games like F-Zero.
Uh-huh.
Like, are they going to do a rewind if you have 2-player? Like, if you're doing split screen?
I'd imagine that it's always going to be available.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
And do you think both players will be able to control it? Or do you think it'll only be player one?
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Yeah.
Like
you just keep rewinding back to the beginning.
That's something that would deserve a punch to the face.
It's like you wait until the other player, like if they're way far ahead, you wait until they're like just about to get to the finish line, and then you rewind it, and then you just wait, and you just never let them get that win until they rage quit. Right?
No,
that works out, brother. That's how brothers do it.
That's how you get your
that's how you
butt
know
kicked.
That's how you know I'm the little brother.
But yeah, they also mentioned that there's so it's gonna also allow you to load up suspended saves, and
that'll be nice.
Rewatch a period of gameplay ranging from about 40 seconds. Things like that. So, yeah, congrats to like all of you who have yours on pre-order right now.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Nintendo is shipping 2 to the US, is it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's 2.5.
2.5.
2.5, yeah.
You get the console and one controller, but not the second controller.
No, it's like
half a console.
You get like half of the games.
Half the games.
The games, and the it's like the bottom half of the console, not the top half.
Nice.
Yep. You got it's like exposed circuit board.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have my SNES shipped out to me. That's how I'm gonna solve this problem of not having an SNES Classic. Just have my original one shipped out to me.
OG SNES.
Yeah, frayed controller cords and all.
Speaking of SNES games, we got Secret of Mana. Mana?
Yes.
Yamana.
Or is it like the Puerto Rican band Maná?
Maná.
Secret of Maná.
Secret of Yamana.
Yamana.
All right, Secret of Mana. Got an
favorite game.
We got a remake coming February 15th of next year. So Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic. It sounds like they're going to have VO. Square historically is not known for having great VO in their games. So hopefully it's not a breaker. I'm still going to buy the crap out of this
never
game.
played this game, but I remember reading something about like it had like 3-player co-op.
Yeah. If you had the multi-tap, I think you could actually play 3-player on it, which I did have the multi-tap, but I don't think I had 2 friends.
You had a brother.
I had a brother. Oh, yeah, I did. Actually, I probably did. I had my brother and then my friend, my one friend.
Oh, yeah. Boom.
It was the cat.
So your parents are so nice that they made a friend for you. So you only had to find one.
Yeah. It was made of cardboard. Cardboard and firewood.
So you want to leave some input on this?
Oh, dude.
Since you're the one who played it.
No, I love Secret of Mana. It's the only game that I've ever actually like maxed out a character. Granted, it took me 20 years to do that, but of picking up the same save that I played over and over. The music in this game is great. A coworker, I was telling him about it and how great the music was. And I, sent him a playlist of the OST. He was like, "Wow, yeah, this music is really good." And another coworker who,
I know that one.
Yeah, you probably do. You know everybody. But another coworker, who we just have music conversations all the time. It's funny because he sent me some stuff from this band called Battles. Wait, or is that I forget. Is that the name of the band or the name of the album?
Both.
Yeah. Either way, he sent me this band, and then like there was some music in there that felt like it could have been 100% inspired by some of the Secret Mana soundtrack stuff.
Nice.
Not the more orchestral stuff, but the funkier stuff. So yeah, super excited to hear the soundtrack fully orchestrated. I'll be curious to see what they do with the funkier, more kind of electronic and drums, like the D&B stuff, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So glad that it's coming out on Steam and not just Vita.
I was talking to a coworker when
I know that one.
No, you definitely know this guy.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you do.
Yeah.
So we're discussing the SNES Classic. This is one.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
So we're discussing like the game lineup. This one was first revealed, and this guy, he mentioned that Final Fantasy is on there, but not Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana. Oh, is Chrono Trigger?
Secret of Mana I think is on there.
No, Secret is it?
Pretty sure.
Oh yeah. Secret of Mana is on there. Okay.
Chrono Trigger is not.
Chrono Trigger isn't. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say that.
Otherwise, this SNES Classic would just be the Square Enix Classic.
Yeah. Like he was like saying that's like the holy trinity of SNES RPGs.
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 3, Japanese 6.
Yep.
And Secret of Mana.
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger is the one that's missing. So maybe they're working on. What if they make a
just an SNES Classic that just has Chrono Trigger, and that's why they only release so many of the normal ones?
Well, what if they make a Chrono Trigger remake, like they do with Secret Mana? That would be great. I love Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
I didn't play Secret Mana though.
No. Chrono Trigger was good. Chrono Trigger got the release on the PlayStation 1. And also, I think, again, on handheld, right?
Yeah. And like they added like this
the cutscenes with the Dragon Ball Z guy.
Was it cutscenes or was it just like an intro video?
I think they honestly, I don't remember.
I think it was just the intro video.
At least an intro.
Yeah, video. It was like just an intro video that had like had scenes from the game and it was like very Dragon Ball because it was like Akira Toriyama style.
Yeah, well, I think he was the original character designer.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he forgot about all those characters because he has a reputation for forgetting everything he does.
He's like that dude from Memento.
I never watched that movie.
Oh.
Or maybe I forgot about it.
Oh man, are you the dude from Memento? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Nice.
But yeah, he has a reputation of forgetting things. Like he
moves on.
he completely forgot about one character, Launch, who was prominent in Dragon Ball, and then like completely forgot about her for Dragon Ball Z. Like just didn't, like she was nowhere. Like he didn't write her out, or he didn't like write a conclusion to her. He just like omitted her because he forgot about her.
Yeah.
And like people were asked about,
Dude.
they're like, what happened to her? I was like, oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
And then like he's also like doing art for Dragon Ball Super, like promo art. And then he like draws Android 18 with pink hair, who is a blonde character. And like his editor had to remind him, hey, she's blonde.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You didn't see that.
Yeah. Dude,
so
drugs are bad.
So he probably forgot about Chrono Trigger even existing.
Yeah. Chrono who? What?
What?
I almost put down like Chrono Cross as one of my games that I wanted to see remastered.
I hear that game got good reviews.
I enjoyed it. I actually went back and started replaying that fairly recently as well. Maybe not 2 autumns ago, but maybe like 1 summer ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's talk about more HD remakes.
Oh, okay.
Metal Gear Solid 2 HD
Okay.
is being re-released on the NVIDIA Shield.
Okay. Just the Shield.
Yes, just the Shield. It is available right now. Like if you go to the Google Play Store, it is available, but it is only for the NVIDIA Shield, which I think less people own the Shield than people owning the SNES Classic.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, so there's only one person out there. For you, one person who's probably not even listening to the podcast, you can enjoy Metal Gear Solid 2 for $10
in HD.
In HD.
Yeah. Was there ever any other like HD remakes, remasters of that game? Because
I don't think so. Not that I can even think of. I don't think it's. I don't know if it like came out on the PS3 or not.
Yeah, I don't remember. But I think it was just like it was one of those deals where they just rendered it in higher resolution, right? Like there was no asset upgrade, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing.
Or am I thinking of?
I think that this one is just rendered in higher resolution. I don't think they went back and like redid anything.
Yeah.
Because Konami, I'm pretty sure Konami does not have any like developers working on their payroll anymore.
You think they all left?
Yeah, they're all working with Kojima right now.
Yeah.
Or Igarashi.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just there's not really much to say about this other than it's very weird. Weird news.
Yeah. Good luck, I guess.
I thought this was there. Oh, there it is. Anyways, yes. On the topic of HD remakes, Metroid: Samus Returns. The Nintendo has released a trailer, like an overview trailer, just showing off like the gameplay mechanics of Metroid: Samus Returns, which is a remake of Metroid 2, which was exclusively on the Game Boy.
Isn't it? Because they got the, if I recall correctly, they got the guy who did the AM2R, right? Another Metroid 2 remake, I believe.
Okay.
So it's like a remake of the Game Boy game. Something maybe I'm misunderstanding this, which is quite possible, but it's out there in internet land now. So
I do remember at one point there was somebody making a fan remake of Metroid 2 with SNES assets.
Yeah.
The Super Metroid assets. Let me look at this.
Well, they actually took it with AM2R, and the only reason that I know this is because I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on this recently, and again, I might be mixing up some of my information. Definitely do a search to find out yourself, but yeah, I think that they upgraded, like they took the move set, I think, of more along the lines of Zero Mission and Fusion, like with the ledge grabbing and everything.
Wasn't Zero Mission like a Game Boy Advanced remake of Metroid 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And that is like that game that's like about the extreme, as far as an extreme, if we're getting into like the semantics of a remaster, remake versus a reboot. Like that's about the extreme that I think that you can get on the remake remaster.
Didn't they also like add like comic cutscenes or something like that, or something?
I'm trying to remember because I was playing that,
or at least
recently.
some sort of like visual, like I don't know.
I don't recall there being cutscenes in it from my recent playthrough.
I didn't play it. I just saw like a review on it. I was like, oh, this looks really cool.
Excuse me. Yeah, I ended up buying it on Virtual Console and was replaying it, I think, last year. And it's good. But yeah, it is basically like they're taking a lot of the things that were wrong, that not wrong, but like that doesn't hold up very well by modern standards of for Metroid 1, and they're modernizing it. So yeah.
I mean, this looks really cool. This Metroid Samus Returns. I watched that video. It looks very fun. Like the way how Samus controls and her abilities looks like it would be pretty fun to play.
Yeah.
It's gonna be for the 3DS though, right?
I believe.
Yeah,
so.
This looks like it's for 3DS. Yes, it is.
Please, Nintendo, also release on Switch, like Virtual Console or something. I will really, really want to play this game.
Yeah. It looks
if that's
really
even
cool,
a possibility. So.
But it looks like it's a game I'm never gonna play.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. Like, Nintendo releasing all these really cool games, and then I'm never gonna play them because they're putting on platforms that, like, it's like I don't want to get 3DS. I don't play handheld games.
Yeah, I can't do handhelds. I had a Game Boy Advance, but usually when I'm playing like that, looking down, my neck and back just end up hurting.
Yeah, like I can never find like a comfortable way to play, because it's like, okay, I'm trying to do it on the bed.
Yeah.
And like if I'm laying down on my back and I'm not looking straight down, my arms get tired.
Yep.
It's like no matter what, there's always something getting tired or strained while playing a handheld device.
You just need a 3D printer to print up like an armrest that holds your arms up over your head while you're laying on your back in bed.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's all.
Perfect.
3D printers, they fix everything.
Yeah. Or if it's like if I'm laying on my stomach, like kind of arching up, that gets strenuous as well. Like, no matter what, like it's just there's no like comfortable way of playing handheld games at home.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if it's one thing to be like in the break room, like, and you got a table in front of you, that's one thing. But like, well, how am I gonna play at home? Like at my desk?
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
Why am I playing at my desk? I have a computer there.
I don't go out either, so there's no point of me playing this on the train or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't have those on the West Coast.
I used to have a DS for a while, but once I stopped working and started focusing on school, I stopped playing DS because I was every time I went out, I was at school, and like, well, I'm not gonna like play video games at school. I'm at school to study and get
Yeah.
work done. So, and I was like, I'd even bring the DS with me, and I eventually realized that I'm never, even though I'm bringing it with me, I'm never using it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have no desire for a 3DS. I mean, this game looks really cool. Is it blasphemous for me to say I love Metroidvania games and play through like most Castlevania games but never beat a Metroid game?
More heretical than blasphemous, maybe. I don't know. No.
I've played like a couple hours of Super Metroid, but then I got stuck. And then I really wanted to look up where to go next, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I do the same thing with games where like I get stuck and I have too much pride to look up the answer to it. So then I just turn the game off and go elsewhere, which is bad. I mean, that like game devs know that too. Like they don't want to put you in that situation where you do that. So
yeah.
But
all right.
Yeah. So Nintendo, if you like money, we will give it to you, but it has to be on Switch or Wii U or whatever people are playing.
PC. Put on Steam. All right, let's move on and talk about this game that a lot of people have forgot about called Brink. Brink is now free. 6 years after it's released, it's free on Steam. Not free to play, like it's not like microtransactions added. It's just straight up free.
Nice.
And like I remember at the time when it came out, I was playing a lot of TF2, and I was in a TF2 community at the time.
Yeah.
Fug World, FUG World.
Okay.
Yeah. So and a lot of us were hyped for Brink because it looked like it might be the next thing that we'd move on to.
Yeah.
Because we loved TF2, but it was getting stale, and this looked like something that would replace it. I mean, it had like parkour and team, objective-based team matches, and
Okay.
but I can't remember why people didn't like it. It was like not bad, but like mediocre. Like I think it didn't have enough content at the time that killed it. But
I was gonna say it was more of a story-driven first-person shooter, wasn't it? Like that's what I seem to remember. But if you're telling me that there was a large multiplayer part of it, that comes as a surprise to me.
I don't remember if
that might just be my impression.
I remember it had like
a
story that like one side are like police and the other side are criminals. I don't remember if like that was like if there was like an actual campaign or not. And also another thing I remember is like everyone had like rat faces. Like the art style, like everyone had like these long, skinny faces with big noses.
Huh.
So I associated their faces with like rat faces because it looked so. I mean, like they're going for like a cartoony look, but it just looks weird.
Yeah, I might be thinking of another game. I might be.
I'm not sure. Mirror's Edge?
No, definitely not Mirror's Edge. I thought it might be like some British developed game or something like that, but I don't know.
But I think the most noteworthy thing about this this I guess re-release, well not really, but like it going free, is that it could, or at least as of the writing of this article, is that it has more players. Well, sorry. First of all, it went from having 5 to 10 players on a daily basis to 2,500 players as of the day of the writing. And the other noteworthy thing is, at the point of the writing, Brink has 5 times as many players as Lawbreakers and Battleborn combined.
Yeah.
Lawbreakers just coming out, a few weeks ago. Battleborn coming out last year. like failing because Overwatch just stomped a mud hole into it.
Yeah.
And Brink having more players than both of those AAA title. No, sorry, Battleborn's a AAA title. Lawbreakers is indie, but has a big name behind it. Clifford Blazinski.
Cliffordson.
Cliffordson.
Yes.
Gertrude Freeman.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I also played a little bit of the beta for Lawbreakers. It was actually really cool,
Nice.
but no one's playing it for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm not playing it, so I guess that's the reason why no one's playing it, because I'm not playing it. So yeah, Brink, 5 times as many players as both those games combined.
Nice.
Is it nice? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of bad news for those other games.
Yeah, for sure. But
so let's.
Yeah.
So, Microsoft has confirmed that it's in talks with Sony about cross play. I mean, like, what's his name? Phil Spencer, who is the lead of the Xbox division of Microsoft.
That's Mr. Spencer to you.
Philip Spencer.
Yes.
Who I've mentioned on the podcast multiple times that I have a lot of respect for him. He seems to be for the gamers. He tries to do things that's most what's the word? Like he's like not trying to swindle people for their money.
Yeah.
Like he's not his business decision. Yeah, his business decisions seem to be more for towards getting the gamers the most that they can get, or what's the best for them. And like he's mentioned multiple times that he would love to have cross-platform play with PlayStation. I mean, like at the same time, like they would benefit from it more than Sony would, because Sony has more players on like basically every game than the on the Xbox platform, because there are more people who own a PlayStation 4 than people who own an Xbox One.
Yeah.
So it definitely would benefit Microsoft more. But like overall, like I think it would. I mean, I've said it multiple times on this podcast that it would benefit the players the most, because especially for like indie games, like multiplayer indie games, that they need to have the as large of a player base as possible to keep the game alive. If you have like a small indie multiplayer game and your player base is split amongst 3 different platforms, that it doesn't help the game at all, considering that each base has a small amount of players. Now, if you have like all of them into one pool where they're all playing cross-platform between PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, then you can build a larger community. More so, it's gonna be Xbox and Xbox and PlayStation if it's like a shooter, because they don't want to like throw PC players in there and mollywop the console peasants.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I'm not offended. Don't worry. Being a console peasant, I'm not offended by that.
You know your place in life.
Yes.
You know your line in society.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, like it seems like the ball's in PlayStation and Sony's court, and I honestly don't think this is gonna happen anytime soon. I mean, they might be in discussion for more years to come.
Yeah, I mean that was the point of this announcement, right?
Yeah,
is to put the ball in Sony's court.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's obviously Microsoft, and it's been said time and again, Microsoft has the most to gain from this. So it would totally make sense. But we'll see. It would be very, very interesting. Like certainly for games like Destiny, I think there would be a really strong case for cross-platform play. Maybe again leaving the PC players out because the controls are so much different.
Isn't Destiny like a cooperative game though? It's not like player versus player.
Exactly, and you need to put together teams of like 6. You need to have. Now we're going from 3 friends or 2 friends that you have to have. From the Secret of Mana days to now you have to have 5 other friends to do a raid in Destiny. But yeah, again, expanding that player base, especially for the Xbox players, would be great. Like I know that I was definitely in that situation when I was playing Destiny 1, that like I really wanted to play with some friends that were on Xbox, but I had it on PS4 like every other decent human being on the planet.
Why are you friends with these people?
I know. Sorry. Well, I don't discriminate. That's why.
You befriend even the peasants.
Yes, even the Xbox owners. So.
Your token Xbox owner friend.
Yeah, my one friend. He grew up in Seattle, so he's biased. We'll forgive him for that. So yeah, there were definitely times where I would have loved to play with those guys on those consoles. Even if it's just doing a raid or a strike or something. I don't know how. For cooperative stuff, it would have been great. For PvP stuff in Destiny, I'm not sure. I can see its merits, same as the PvE stuff, but I don't know. I usually get my butt whooped in PvP anyway, so yeah. Anyway,
all right. Final article we have on here. Short one. So, Overwatch character Mercy, who is the angel looking character, who heals. She's a support character. So they have made a change to her in the PTR, the public test realm. So the issue, like a lot of people really like Mercy. A lot of people play her. I think she's still like the most played support character.
Yeah. I think that's what they said in the update.
Yeah. But like the issue with her compared to the other support characters is that she can't like heal and attack at the same time while the others can.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to like babysit. I mean, like I guess the closest one that can't really heal and attack at the same time is Ana, because she has to like aim at the friendly characters to heal them and then aim back at the. But it's not like she has to, like switch weapons or anything.
Right.
So, but as far as Mercy, like you can heal people and like stick around behind them, but like you can't just easily like attack and heal at the same time. So like I guess that because of that they're like doing some changes to her to try to like I don't know make her more of an attack person as well. But like they don't want to make her like a dominantly attack person.
Yeah.
They want to make her like still primarily healing, but making her attacks better.
Yeah.
So the changes that they've done is they replaced her ultimate, which previously it would revive every downed player who hasn't respawned yet within a specific radius.
Mm-hmm.
So it can, essentially revive the entire team if they all like died recently.
Yeah.
And they haven't respawned yet. So now like she has like an like she can do that like every 30 seconds now.
Well, Well, she can res one at a
Yeah,
time.
yeah, she can resurrect one person every 30 seconds now, and they've replaced her ultimate with Valkyrie, which buffs all of her other abilities for 20 seconds and also gives her the ability to fly. Like just straight up, if you hold the jump button, you
Yeah.
just straight up start flying. You shoot faster, you shoot stronger. All your abilities have been buffed.
heal
You heal quicker and multiple people. And also, what was the other thing? You res people like 10 seconds. Rather
between
than
res.
rather than 30-second cooldown.
Yeah, another reason for this, I know that Mr. Kaplan gave on the video, was you were mentioning about how like the whole team could wipe, they could like go for the objective, and she would be off hiding someplace while the whole team gets wiped on the objective, and then she swoops in and reses the whole team, and everybody, the other teams completely spent their alts. And now they're left just getting dominated.
Like every time that happens, I'm like, that's so BS.
Yeah, and that's exactly what everybody, that's again, according to Mr. Kaplan, that's a big reason why they're changing the way that she works.
Also the other reason why I say that's so BS is because it never happens to me.
Right?
It's always the enemy team that like their entire team gets resurrected at once.
Yeah.
To like turn the tide.
And even if it's on my team, I probably just died anyway and have respawned separate from the rest of my team.
And your whole team's like, yay! And you're like,
yeah, hold on, guys, I'll be there in a minute. Just wait.
Just 30 more seconds.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. So
I just like using Lucio just so that way I can get back into the battle and die quicker.
Yeah. So right now they said that they're still trying to make changes to her. Like the changes that they have in the public test realm are not final because they said that her gun is still too strong. Because like she shoots faster now, but like it's still not where they want it to be because they think that it's still too good. They want it to be better than it was before, but they don't want it to be like so good that it's like, oh, I'm not gonna play as Tracer, I'm gonna play as Mercy instead and use her gun.
Yeah, making her more of she's become a support or gone from a support to becoming like a DPS character.
Yeah. They don't want her to be DPS. They want her to still stay support. So still having some changes done to her. And
Yep.
So let's get back on the screen. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
We're still here.
Yep. Even though you heard us talking the whole time.
Still wearing green.
Yep. It was completely coincidental. I could have changed my shirt, but you know what?
You wanted to be Tingle.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to be Tingle. So let's start wrapping things up. Before we do that, let's do some listener feedback. So
listening.
Yeah, you got the feedback. You can hear the feedback.
I don't hear.
Woo. Okay. All right. If you want to write into the podcast, you can do so by writing to podcast@outofcontinues.com. Again, that's podcast@outofcontinues.com is the email address. Send us your questions, comments, your feedback. Please do so. I look at the number of downloads every week, and it's a good number. It's in the hundreds, but the number of feedback I get every week is in like the zeros or ones, mainly zeros. So please send me an email. It's free. You can do that for free. But anyways, you can if you want to send an email, you can do so just like Tim J, who has sent us multiple emails in the past. Thank you, Tim. Our number one listener. Actually, number 2 listener because I'm the number one. I'm the number one.
Sorry.
I'm my own number one fan. So Tim. He writes, so near automata, you are correct that automata is pronounced automata. but the strange way people are pronouncing it comes from the fact that the creator Yoko Taro pronounces it automata, but that's probably a result of trying to pronounce automata with a Japanese accent.
You mean sort of like Eureka, the anime? When
I'm not familiar with that.
it's Eureka, guys. It's Eureka.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
Also, whatever you think the twist, you've guessed it. That's not it. Oh, you might have guessed the twist correctly, but that's not the twist, as it were. After all, you're still in the prologue. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think I said I knew the twist, but I said I think I know like what direction they're kind of going towards. But yeah, I do expect that there's probably a lot more to it once I get further into the game. Regarding Defenders, I think you're letting your dislike of Danny Rand color your opinion of the show. I felt like Jessica got the most character growth while Danny was more MacGuffin than main character. My response to that is I don't agree. I don't think my dislike of Iron Fist colored my opinion on the show, because it doesn't change the fact that Sigourney Weaver was completely underutilized. Doesn't change the fact that the Hand is a very ridiculous enemy. Like I don't change my opinion on that. Have you watched The Defenders?
I have not.
Okay.
I haven't watched most of the Netflix Marvel stuff.
Do you plan on watching it?
Defenders?
Yeah.
Or
probably
not. I might do the Flash one of these days. Or no, sorry, not the Flash. Daredevil one of these days.
Daredevil is really good.
Yeah, everybody recommends it.
Yeah. I also recommend Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Like just to like kind of summarize what I was saying last week. I mentioned Sigourney Weaver. Like she's completely underutilized. Her character sucked. Like the Hand is basically like this secret society ninja society, like Illuminati type thing.
Yeah.
It does not work on TV as it does in the comics.
Okay.
It's just very silly on TV. Like Daredevil worked a lot better because they were going against Kingpin, which is a mob boss.
Right.
And they focused more on like the character development. And like season 2 of Daredevil, like half of it he's going against Punisher, and that worked really well because it was about like their character interactions and their motives and things like that. But like once they start going against like the secret society of ninjas and like immortal people and Illuminati type stuff, like it's just too goofy. Like it's hard to take it seriously any longer, especially when the characters themselves like they think it's stupid.
Oh,
like
really?
The characters themselves are thinking this is unbelievable. And like there's one a minor a side character who is a police officer. She's like, Luke, tell me what's going on so I can help you. And he's like, you won't believe me if I tell you.
Yeah.
Like that's how stupid it is. Like they won't even share it with the other characters because of the fact that it's too stupid.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, Iron Fist is a bad character, and like I don't like how he's so pouty, and like every time like he tries to say I'm the mortal Iron Fist, even the other characters, they roll their eyes, and Luke Cage is like it's hard for me to believe this he's like, I understand that you're like into this mystical stuff, it's just hard for me to like believe it. And he's like, it's not mystical, it's another way of looking at life, and he like gets all pouty and everything. So yes, I do not like Iron Fist in the series, but it does, my dislike for him does not change the rest of the show, which I mean, like it's 8 episodes. The first 2 episodes are super slow, so that's like a quarter of the season. Super slow first quarter of it. It has some decent action scenes, nothing as good as Daredevil. Like Daredevil had amazing action scenes. And like just I don't think it was terrible, but it's definitely not anywhere near as good as Daredevil and Jessica Jones. Even Luke Cage, I'd say it's even not as good as Luke Cage, which I think Luke Cage is weaker than Daredevil and Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I just want to clarify that I don't think it's my dislike for Iron Fist.
So what do you think is going to happen with all these series when like you probably saw the news about, I don't know, you might have even addressed it last week or wherever, about Disney pulling their stuff from Netflix.
Oh, from Netflix? No, I haven't addressed that.
Yeah.
I think that happened while I was on my my medical leave, so I wasn't doing a podcast at the time.
Right.
I don't know. That's
a few years from now.
Yeah.
I mean, does Netflix own the rights to these characters, sort of like how Fox owns the rights?
No, Netflix does not own the rights to them. It's just a contract between them and Disney to publish those or produce those shows.
Right. So I'll be curious if they have to if they have to wrap up the storylines by the time that Disney starts their own service, or if they're going to migrate over.
All these publishers trying to make their own streaming service, it's just incredibly frustrating as a consumer. Like with WB, they want to do their own thing as well, and that's why they're pulling like all of the the DC cartoons from Netflix. And they want to publish Young Justice season 3 exclusively on their streaming service.
Yeah.
So tons of fans of Young Justice want a season 3. We're hungry for it, but it's like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna subscribe for 1 month just so I can watch Young Justice and then unsubscribe.
Yeah. Hopefully they allow you to do that. They have a business model that allows you to do that, right? You don't have to subscribe for like a year.
All right, continuing with Tim's email. His final thing he says, regarding Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Disney meddling is still negatively affecting the game, mostly because there are no X-Men or Fantastic Four characters involved, since Disney is trying to force the rights off of Fox and back to their grip. Regards, Tim. Thank you for writing in, Tim. I do understand that Disney is there. Disney has said that they or at least a writer, a Marvel writer, has said that the reason why they canceled the Fantastic Four comic is because Disney does not want to promote the Fantastic Four movies.
Ooh,
because they're so bad.
That's harsh.
Yeah, they canceled the comic specifically because of the movies. They do not like what Fox is doing with the movies, so they will not promote them. And I guess until they get it back. They're kind of doing the.
They're going to tank their own IP.
Yeah.
Just to get back at
like the original
Fox.
Superhero family.
I'm curious, to what extent does it is this actually just some executives, some grudge at the executive level, or if Fox actually, if they made better Fantastic Four films, would Disney then be like, okay, you've made better films, we're gonna bring the comic book back?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, what's the real story here, guys?
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy.
I know,
Illuminati.
I know Disney is also they've like been toning down the usage of X-Men in their stories as well. And also like they're pushing super hard and trying to make Inhumans the new thing that replaces X-Men, but like no one cares about those characters. Like
Inhumans are in, X-Men are out.
yeah, it's
That's
like
why they're Inhumans.
it's like no one really very few people really care about Black Bolt. I mean, the guy doesn't even talk.
Who?
Black Bolt, who is the king of the Inhumans. Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly. Like you don't even know who Black Bolt is,
No.
but everyone loves Wolverine.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot bury Wolverine.
Yeah.
He's
Although
everyone's
they
favorite.
did. They literally did.
but
Spoilers. Sorry.
It
hasn't been a year. That was bad. I'm sorry.
yeah. I mean, like regarding what Tim said,
People are gonna hate me now. Spoiling
I
Logan.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, just kidding.
What are you even talking about?
Yeah.
So,
JK.
Regarding what Tim said about Disney like ruining Marvel's Capcom Infinite, I don't think the lack of characters is what's hurting the game. I think the game itself is hurting the game. I mean, I played the demo and I was like, this is not really that good. Have you tried it?
MVC?
Yeah, Marvel's Capcom Infinite. Like the
No.
demo's available on PS4.
No, I haven't tried it.
It was like super easy, and I just didn't care for it. It wasn't very good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know that we have some coworkers that are really, really into that series, and I hear stuff, but I haven't played it myself.
It seems
I saw it at
the
E3.
word going around at work seems to be more people are excited for Dragon Ball Fighters.
Well, a lot of those people are coworkers. If we're talking about the same people here,
Yeah.
a lot of those people are
What
Guilty
do
Gear.
you mean, you
Blaze Blue.
people?
A lot of those people are Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue fans.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Like that, it's the same developers.
I played it at E3.
Yeah.
And I think that
Dragon
was
Ball?
Yeah, it was way more fun than when I played.
MVC.
Yeah, the demo for Marvel's Capcom.
Yeah. But their booth wasn't as big.
So yeah, I don't think like that's what's the lack of characters is hurting game. I mean, like at the end of the day, like which characters are in the game don't really matter too much because basically like
they also did some weird things with some of the designs, is what I've heard as well. Right? Some of the character designs.
What do you mean? Like Chun-Li having a goofy face? they fixed that.
Okay.
Last week we covered that.
Okay. Yeah.
Geez. I mean, like,
I'm sorry.
Like, I mean, for example, like Fantastic Four. I can't, if I recall correctly, I don't think any of the Fantastic Four have been in any of the Marvel's Capcom fighting games. So like regardless as to whether they're in the game or not, I mean it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
And like what's like Mr. Fantastic gonna play like Dulcim, I suppose, with his stretchy arms?
Wasn't Human Torch in MVC 1 maybe? I want to say, but there's so many characters that are similar.
At
to
one
him.
point Iceman was in like those games.
Thing, I'm pretty sure Thing was.
I don't think so.
No,
Hulk was.
Yeah, I remember Hulk. I'm going back to like the old, like the days when I'd sit in the arcade for an hour while my folks went shopping. Yeah, I'm trying to think back to that and how many times I watched the attract screen.
I'm pretty sure like the Invisible Woman was in the background of one of the games.
Yeah. If you look really, really hard, you can find her. You just have to squint. That's all. She's in there.
No, but I mean, like my point is, like, I guess people will miss out on Wolverine because he has been a staple character in that series for a while.
Right.
I mean, like he has a specific move set, and unless they replaced him with like Groot or something, and he has like the same moves, You know,
Yeah, that makes sense. Groot
Yeah.
and Wolverine are basically the same character. So.
I mean, I know they placed the Guardians of the Galaxy in the game, but I don't know what their moves are like.
Star Lord just comes back with witty sayings the whole time. that's what he does.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I mean, I don't know.
The blue
Like,
guy whistles a lot.
I don't think like the lack of characters is really making much of a difference. I think
They have plenty to pull from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do have plenty of characters, but I think the game itself is not going to be so good from what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, thanks for writing, Tim. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the feedback. Anyways, let's wrap the show. Chris, do you have anything you want to plug? You want to say hi to your mom?
Nah, she's good.
Okay.
She's fine. She won't watch this ever.
Okay.
She almost knows what the internet is.
If you enjoy what you've been hearing, you can support us by liking us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter, leave an iTunes review. You can subscribe to Google Play Music. You can contact by email. That's podcast@adcontinues.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/adcontinues. All those things I just said really fast. They're on the website. That's www.adcontinues.com. They're all linked on the side. You can give me a tweet. I am at Sayedstafa. That's at SAYEDSTAFA. And you can't tweet at Chris because
I don't do the Twitter.
Yeah. Even if
I do have I think I do have a Twitter, but I don't even know what it is. And I just use it to stalk other people anyway. So
even if you're active on Twitter, I
Yeah.
wouldn't share.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, because then people will get you like your real name and then find out where you work. And
Oh, they'll probably find out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Closing. I'd like to thank you, Chris, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Oh, looking.
Went on like maybe an hour longer than usual.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're closing on 3 hours, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh wow. All right.
Cool.
Thanks for joining me, Chris. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week on episode 289. And if you're watching this on YouTube, click right here to subscribe. Click, I think it's gonna be next to Chris, like around his face. Yeah, over there.
Right here.
For the last week's episode, and then over here should be the episode before that.
And then click right here, right there, for next week's episode.
No.
No.